I'm going to try and survive 100 days on this island in hardcore. With limited resources at my disposal, I'm going to transform this island into the ultimate survival base, while trying to keep it cozy, of course, and, well, trying to stay alive, because I think that's probably important too. So let's kick things off on day 1 on this island. Now, of course, the very first thing that we need to do is punch a tree. Listen, if we're gonna be surviving here, we've always got to start off with some tools. So I'm gonna go ahead and make myself a crafting table, and then I'm gonna craft just a pickaxe. I think this time around I'd like to skip the pain of wooden tools and upgrade to stone right away. Alrighty, I managed to hit stone, so let's go ahead and scoop some of this up. That should be a good amount of stone to start with, so let's get all of these tools made. Since we're on hardcore, time is of the essence, because honestly, I think I should probably sleep through the night to avoid mobs. Now, there are a ton of sheep around here, however, I don't want to risk getting rid of them and wiping out the population. So I think I might go searching for iron. If we can get a set of shears, we will be in a very good spot. So I say we try our luck and search around this island for a water cave. That's probably going to be our best bet. Like right there. Perfect. So let's toss down a door so we can make a little air pocket, and let's scoop up our first little bit of iron. Awesome, so we ended up with 6 pieces. Well, I was gonna go ahead and make those shears, except I just realized that I need more stone for a furnace. That would probably be handy. We'll craft ourselves up a furnace, and let's go ahead and toss the iron in there. And while I'm waiting for that iron to cook, I think I'm just gonna chop down some more trees. We are gonna need some wood to make our bed after all. Alrighty, we got our first little bit of iron, which means I can make these shears. Alright, let's go find some sheep. Hi, there you are. That gave us 3 wool right away. Perfect. So that means we have everything we need to make this bed. And honestly, now that I have this, I'm not scared at all. I mean, I'm still a little bit scared. But now at least we don't have to worry about a ton of mobs spawning on this island and me having to fight for my life. So we've got ourselves a really important piece of survival all covered. There's still a lot of time left in the day, so I think what I want to do before we get onto another task is see what else is around this island. It's actually pretty small, but I was also panicking when I spawned in, so I never really took a good look. So we still have tons of sheep around this island, which is awesome. And we've got some chickens, pigs, got a little cow here, and another cow there. So we have lots of animals, which is great. Once we get a proper farm in place, there will be no shortage of food for us. And speaking of food, we should probably start collecting seeds so we can grow food to feed these animals. The sooner I get that started, the better off we're gonna be. And I'm just gonna go over to the edge of the island here and plant our first couple seeds that we have. It's not much, but hey, it's a start. Now on the topic of food, I think I need some for myself because I'm starting to get hungry. Well, it's a good thing we're surrounded by a vast ocean with tons of fish in it. I have a feeling I'm gonna be surviving off of fish for quite a while. Alrighty, I managed to grab 6 cod, so I'm gonna pop that in the furnace, and I think that should be a good start for food. I am starting to collect a lot of random junk though, so I'm gonna make a little chest so I can start storing all of my treasures. Some of this food should be done by now. Yeah. Alright, some cooked fish, first meal of the day. It was alright. After I ate, I still had a little bit of time left in the day, so I pretty much spent the rest of it breaking grass to collect seeds. And that wonderful sleep I had under the stars brings us into day 2. Now, I don't want to waste any time whatsoever, so I think I'm going to start things off just by planting some more seeds. Now, there's a lot of stuff that we need to get started around here. As much as I would love to dive into the caves, get lots of armor, all of that stuff, I really don't feel prepared for that yet. I only have a tiny bit of food at the moment. So I feel like it might be a good idea to keep things a little bit more low-key today and just gather up some essential resources that are around the island. So I started things off by chopping down some trees. Honestly, I figure all of this stuff is gonna get torn down sooner rather than later anyway, so we might as well start clearing out some of it now, especially because I'm probably gonna need the wood anyway. Speaking of which, I didn't even notice which trees we actually have on this island. So I've been chopping down a bunch of birch, however, we do have some dark oak. Now, since we're stranded on this island, I don't think I have spruce because I didn't see any. So, you know what? I think this might be the biggest challenge of this 100 days. Can Drift survive without spruce? That is the question. Are you for real? There is 1 singular oak tree here. Just one. We are gonna have to guard this with our life. We're gonna have to collect these saplings and keep them very, very safe, because honestly, oak will really come in handy for us. All right, so I've got a little bit of a start on clearing out some of this island. And judging only by what I've cleared so far, it's looking really cool. So now that I've cleared out some trees, I think the next thing I'm gonna focus on is collecting some more food. So my current strategy is to use the fish to feed myself, and then use the crops I'm growing to start breeding some of the animals. Once we get our food figured out, I feel like everything else will be a lot easier. All right, more cod. Let's pop that in the furnace. And I am heading right back in the ocean. You've got to be kidding me. Is that a taiga over there? It is. This is literally my nightmare. Being stranded on an island, but still close enough to see a taiga. It's just simply unfair, isn't it? Once I had gathered up another good amount of fish, I popped them in the furnace and spent the rest of the day breaking more grass for seeds and chopping down trees. And that brings us into day 3. So I went to check on my crops, and look at this. We got one piece of wheat so far. And although that's not enough to start feeding all the animals, that is, however, enough for us to start corralling them into pens. So I think we should probably start getting some of those set up, just so we know all the animals that we have around here are safe. The last thing that we need is to lose any of these animals because, well, once they're gone, they're gone. We won't be able to get any more back. Oh, well, I guess you're going in there too, bud. Well, it's not the prettiest thing, but it'll definitely do. So let's start off by grabbing all of these sheep. There we go. Got all you in this pen. And there's still one more over here. There's a lot of sheep on this island. I didn't even realize. All right, in you go. Looks to me, oh, I right-clicked by accident. Actually, no, it's okay. I did get some bone meal from the fish, so it's no sweat. We can just grow this wheat back. All right, now for the cows. You, my friend, you should not be over here, so I'm gonna grab you first. All right, we've got both cows. Now to just get you to the pen. Okay, we made it. Perfect. So we got our cows in the pen, along with this one random chicken, and I would say that is a job well done. Now we do still have chickens and pigs roaming around, but I don't think we need to worry about them just yet. Leather and wool are definitely the priority right now. So once this wheat field starts taking off, we'll be able to easily feed our animals. Now I still have some time left in the day, and I would say I have a decent supply of food. One big essential I'm still lacking though is armor. So what I'm gonna do with the rest of this iron is I'm going to make myself a shield and an iron pickaxe. And I'm not necessarily gonna go diving into a cave, but I think I'm just gonna start safely digging down to see if I can find anything. I think the sooner we can make ourselves some armor and better tools, the better. I just realized I am making a really long tunnel and I don't have any lighting for it. That's a really bad idea. So I think I should probably grab some of this coal that I saw in the water cave earlier. Alrighty, I've got my coal, which I can now use to make torches, and it looks like the sun is setting, so I think I'm just gonna go to sleep for the night. Alright, it is now day 4, and I say we don't waste any time at all and just get back into those mines. Thanks to all of that coal I grabbed yesterday, we can now safely light this place. So I continued digging my way down to see what I could find. Oh, I have hit part of this water cave. Right around there. Yep, that makes sense. I mean, that's not ideal because digging through water is such a pain, but I think if I just kind of loop this tunnel around, then we should be okay. Digging down with stone picks wasn't the fastest thing in the world. But hey, progress is progress, and hopefully we'll find some iron and other goodies soon. Plus, another bright side of digging down like this is I was actually collecting a lot of resources that I would need in the future for building. Future me is gonna be so thankful. Oh, I hit a piece of cave. I am scared to just like go down there though. I don't know what's down there. I can't see anything. I don't trust this. Oh, there's a creeper. Iron. Oh, there's two. There's two. There's two. I'm being such a wimp right now, but I think for a very valid reason. No. Oh, they hit really hard and hardcore. I didn't really realize how bad it was. Oh, that's scary. You know what? I might be a big time baby, but I really don't want to go down there. Can I just like dig down to get this iron? Oh, I can. Oh, it was just 2 pieces, that's it? Listen, I might be acting like a big baby right now, but to be fair, I don't even have any armor. So I think I'm just gonna keep trying to find safe avenues for me to keep tunneling. Finally, I found some more. Okay, things are looking up for us. Wow, this is actually a pretty big deposit. So I'm guessing it's nighttime by now, and I forgot my bed. And my guess is that the island is probably riddled with mobs. So I think it's probably the safer bet to just spend the night tunneling down. And boy, am I thankful I did that because wow, I ended up having a ton of luck. No way. Did I seriously just find my very first diamonds? I don't even have full iron tools yet, nor do I even have armor. There's 1. There's 2. 3. Seems like that's probably it. So we've got ourselves 3 diamonds already. And you might be thinking, Drift, wow, what a great start. But oh, I assure you, my luck did not end there. Well, at this rate, it is looking like I might get diamond armor before I even get my iron armor. This is ridiculous. There's even more up there? What? What is going on here? Well, that was a huge cluster because I don't even have fortune on this pick, obviously, and I managed to grab 15 diamonds. If I keep getting diamonds just from digging down like this, I might actually be able to get diamond armor very soon. We are now on to day 5, and I say we take a little bit of a break from digging. Oh, and we are greeted with a rainy day. Well, at least the mobs cleared out. So since we have all of these diamonds, and since this is hardcore, I think we should probably spend them on armor. It has been kind of stressing me out that I've just been walking around with nothing. So let's get suited up with a chest plate and some leggings. Wow, not only does that feel so much better, but also I cannot believe I got enough diamonds for this. I am so happy. Now, as much as I would love to dive back into caving with this new armor, I think we should probably check up on our animals. Yes, perfect. Okay, a lot of this wheat is growing now. So not only do we have enough wheat to finally feed the animals, but we can regrow even more. Alrighty, let's finally get our animals some food. So we are one step closer to having a better supply of food, and also important materials like wool and leather. All of that's done, so we now have the rest of the day free. But this is no vacation island. I've pretty much got endless amounts of work to do. Now, as much as I want to jump back down into the caves, I can't. I need some torches to properly light my way, otherwise things are gonna get really hairy down there. So I think I better spend some time gathering up some more coal. The rain has stopped and the sun finally came out. Alrighty, so I did manage to collect 32 coal, which really isn't a bad start. And since lighting seems to be the main issue I'm having on this island right now, I think I'm gonna keep using it all for torches. So now that I've replenished my supply for my light source, I think I'm gonna waste the rest of this perfectly beautiful sunlit day down in the caves. I had such good luck finding diamonds the other day, so I think I want to continue digging to see if I can get a full set of armor. Wait a second. Is this a spawner? Hello? Oh, yep, that's definitely a skeleton spawner. Well, that's actually really great that we have this, but I also don't think I'm equipped to deal with this at the moment. So I'm just gonna block this off with some birch so I remember that it's actually here. In the meantime, though, I'm gonna keep tunneling around to see if I can find any more of these diamonds. All right, it is now day 6, and I am still digging tunnels, hoping to find these diamonds. I honestly think it's probably worth spending a full day down here. And hopefully by the end of it, we'll have a full set of diamond armor. Oh, I finally found some. Let's go. I'll take you, and you, and you as well, and you. Yep, you too. And I think that's it. That is 5 more diamonds added to the collection. Oh, I seem to have stumbled upon a little bit of a cave here. Feel like it's probably safe. Anything interesting? Oh, diamonds. Just gonna scout this place out really quickly before I grab those though, because we don't want anything sneaking up on us. All right, coast is clear, so now I can scoop these up. Wait, I just realized, right now we're currently at 9 diamonds, so if we make ourselves a helmet and a set of boots, then we did it. We have full diamond armor already. I didn't even get iron. That is awesome. I've got to be honest, I don't know if I've ever made diamond armor that quickly in a world before. Well, I am definitely not complaining because that makes me feel a lot better about being in hardcore. Since I already had such good diamond luck, I decided to keep digging to try and find more so I can make some tools. But sadly, that was about as much luck as I was gonna have for the day. It is day 7 now, and I say we head back up. I got myself a full set of diamond armor, and honestly, that's more than I could ask for right now. I think we'll worry about better tools and stuff on another day, because I'd like to get started on some projects around the island. First things first, let's make sure our animals are fed for the day. Alrighty, we've got some wheat, so let's get you all fed. I think we're doing pretty good, because at the moment we have a really good sheep population, and we're starting to get the cow population up as well. Now we've been on this island for a few days now, and I still only have whatever you call this setup. So I think it's time we get started on building a starter home. Now let's take a look at this island in FreeCam, and as you can see, we have lots and lots of space to work with. However, the only thing is the terrain isn't looking so great. It's just like super uneven and there's a lot of cliff sides and stuff, which all make it pretty difficult to build on. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is spend the day fixing the terrain up and flatten out a nice spot for a starter house. It is a beautiful morning on day 8, and I managed to get a little bit of terraforming done. Now I just realized that if I want to build, I'm gonna have to cut down this oak tree. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared to cut this down because I'm like, what if I don't get saplings? So I'm just gonna wait by these leaves to see what it drops. Oh, I'm nervous, come on. Please drop something. I gotta turn away, I can't look. Is there anything yet? There's one, there's 2. Okay, we're good. Now that I've got 2, I'm just gonna break these leaves to see if any more drop. 2 saplings is a decent start, but ideally I would love to have at least 10. Okay, I think that's about all we're gonna get. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replant these over here and let them grow. And in the meantime, I should probably start chopping these dark oak trees down because we're gonna need their saplings as well. Let's scoop up all these dark oak saplings. Make sure we've got enough to replant. And it looks like we've got more than enough of these saplings to keep replanting. So that is a big relief. Oh, I just realized there's sugarcane right here. Well, that will definitely come in handy for building an enchanting table, so I'm gonna start growing some of this as well. I honestly almost forgot that we needed that for important things. Could you imagine if it wasn't on this island? I would have been so sad. Well, the weather has kind of turned for the worse today, but I think I'm just gonna keep chopping away at all these trees. I feel like I'm gonna be building a lot in this back portion of the island, so we might as well clear out all these trees. So I've got myself just so many birch saplings, and honestly, a decent amount of dark oak saplings as well. Now the question is, will I get more from these 2 oak trees? I sure hope so. And that brings us into a beautiful morning on day 9. Wow, look at that rainbow. So yesterday I managed to clear out a lot of space towards the back part of the island. Now, as you can see, the terrain is still a little bit of a mess. Ideally, I'd like for most of the space around here to be leveled, so we have a good spot to build on, and so the island terrain kind of more naturally slopes down towards the front of the island rather than at the back as well. So I have a feeling I'm gonna be digging around for a lot of dirt today. The question is, where am I gonna get this dirt? We only have so much of this island, and well, I like the terrain over here, so I don't want to destroy it. So I think I'm gonna have to go find a designated spot for dirt collecting. But before we do that, I want to continue getting some oak saplings. So I'm gonna tear down these 2 trees and hope that I get a couple more so we can get ourselves a little bit of an oak farm going. While I'm waiting, I'm gonna try to not stress, so I'm gonna feed the animals, just look away, and hope for the best. Okay, this time we're dropping a few more. This is good. So this time I managed to collect 6 saplings. So I think it's safe to say that we're pretty much gonna be in the clear and we're not gonna have to worry anymore. So I'm just gonna replant all these saplings so we can keep farming wood. And then of course, I'm still gonna stash one away for safekeeping. So now that we got everything figured out with all of the trees that we need to build, I think it's time for me to start digging up some dirt. I figured it's safe to scoop away all the dirt underneath where I'm terraforming because we're not really gonna be using this space anyway. Or actually, maybe since I'm carving out a nice space, we could use this for something like a storage hall down the road. So I might be doing myself some favors here. So I would say I have sufficiently made a mess out of this terrain. But that's okay because we are just gonna patch it up and no one will ever see it. It is now the morning of day 10, and I think if we do one more solid day of terraforming and collecting some oak, then we probably should be good to start building soon. So let's start by chopping down these trees that we've got. Alrighty, the oak trees have been planted, so that means it's digging time. I managed to grab like a couple stacks from this little pit that I've made, so I think we probably should be good with all this dirt. And now I think we can finally finish filling in the rest of this area. Oh, well, I'm probably just gonna have to dig him out later. Alrighty, so I've actually managed to terraform quite a bit of this space. Aside from an obvious problem we've got on this side, which I think I'm gonna fix another time because I might do a cliffside edge here, everything else is pretty much closed off. And it's kind of hard to see right now because obviously I have a bunch of oak trees popping up here, but we've got a pretty good amount of space to work with. So I think once I chop down these oak trees, I should have enough materials to build with. Oh, we have bees. If it's not in the way and I can keep it there, I definitely want to keep that bee's nest. That could be super helpful for us. Minus that tree with the bee's nest, I have just a few more trees to chop down and then we should be good. It is a beautiful morning on day 11. So I think today is the day where we can begin building our starter home. Now we did a lot of terraforming these past couple days, so we have a lot of space to work with. And of course I was picturing the house somewhere on this part of the island, but I'm not gonna tear down a bee's home. That's just mean. So I think what I'm gonna do in the meantime is shear some of these leaves because A, we always need them for decorations, and B, if we do this, then we can still kind of build close to this tree until we can relocate this nest. I mean, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but I think that's a decent solution. Let's just, here, there we go. Let's fix that up just a little bit because it was looking real bad. And before we get started, I think I'm gonna have to tear these down too. Knotted trees are the worst. I can never see where all of the logs are. So most of the day was actually spent chopping down these 2 oak trees. Because just when you think you've chopped down every single log, you manage to find another one. Did I get it all? Oh, nope. There's still one left. Okay, I think I finally managed to get them all. So now that this area has all been cleared, I want to figure out a palette before we build. So we have lots of materials at our disposal, which is great. We are limited to only oak, birch, and dark oak, which is fine. I'm totally fine without using spruce. It's not an issue at all. Okay, it might be a little bit of an issue, but I am going to learn to live without it. So alongside all of those wood types, I think it would be really nice to use some stone brick. And alongside that stone brick, I think using some cobble and andesite would look really nice as well. So while all that's cooking up, I think I'm gonna head down into the caves to collect a little bit more andesite. If we're gonna be using it in our palette, we could definitely use a top up. You know, since I'm already down here, I think I'm gonna grab some granite as well, because this could be really nice to use in our builds for like rooftops or even walls. Digging up materials in the mine brought us into day 12, where our stone is still cooking away, but I think we can probably get started on the base of the build. Oh, actually, if I want to make the stone bricks, we have to make a stone cutter. There we go. Now we can start converting all of this stone into stone bricks. And we are rocking and rolling. So what do you say we get started on finally building ourselves a bit of a starter home? So I'm just gonna start things off with a good old classic rectangular shape. And yep, that's definitely a rectangle. I think to bring in a teeny amount of shape, I'm gonna add a section of this wall that comes out by 1 block. Yeah, that's looking much better. So since we're doing like a classic house, for the second floor, I'm gonna go with wood. Now, usually at this point, this is where I start using spruce for things like beams and also the roof line. But since we don't have any, I'm just gonna use oak for the beams instead. Listen, the last time I had to use just oak for some beams, I couldn't even tell you when that was. But hey, I'm actually really excited to see what we make, because even without the spruce, I still think that we're gonna make some really cute stuff. Alrighty, let's strip all of these walls. And how are we looking? Whoops, I wasn't supposed to strip those. I got confused because the spruce is usually my guide. It is now day 13 and our starter home is coming along really nicely. So the next thing I'm gonna get started on is the roof. So I'm thinking some dark oak would look really nice for this trim. Yeah, I think that roof shape is looking real nice. So we've got a nice dark oak trim. Now I think what would look really nice with it would be some granite. So let's go ahead and craft up a bunch of these blocks. All right, we got this filled in and that's looking really good. Now we've just got to add some details to this build. And I think I'm going to start by simply popping out some spots for windows. Now I feel like it would actually be kind of cool if the entryway was on the second floor. Actually, we could do two and maybe have it so the bottom floor and the top floor are two separate spaces. So in that case, we're going to need a staircase going to the second floor. Hello? Are you looking to go inside? And that brings us into day 14, where I was still working away on all of the details of the starter home. So I've got this little staircase set up and I really like this idea. However, I'm thinking it should be made of a different material. And I'm gonna use dark oak just so it stands out a little bit more. Yeah, I think that is much better. Not only does it match our roof trim, but we can also tie it in with a trim between the first and second floor. Then lastly, we'll get some fencing in here for a little railing. And yeah, I think that gives the front of the house a lot more character. So now obviously we just need to fix up the inside and work on a couple more details outside of the house, and then we should be good. It is now day 15 and I have made some progress on this house. I spent some time starting to organize my storage so I don't fall too far behind on that. Because when I do, yeah, it gets really bad. So I think for most of this day, I'd like to continue working on this starter home. Ideally, I would like to get most of it decorated and most of my storage sorted. So let's get ourselves some barrels for things that don't require as much storage. We'll get like a little work table beside it. And minus a couple things here and there, I think that should be good for this room. Alrighty, now we should probably head on upstairs and figure this out. I mean, we need glass on the windows, that's for sure. And I think having a proper ceiling would probably be nice as well. All right, now for the top floor, I actually have a lot of space to work with and I didn't realize it would be so much space. I mean, I should have realized, I built the footprint. But I think because we have a nice little workstation down below, I still want to make the top floor a cute and cozy space. I mean, it's pretty clear to me that we have enough space for a king-size bed, so I say we treat ourselves to that for sure. Now, in terms of flowers for dyes, I think all we have are these wildflowers at the moment. But we can easily turn this into yellow dye. Oh, wait, we had red right there. You know what? I'll grab a couple of these as well. So let's dye our beds red. And you know what? I'm gonna avoid the yellow carpeting because last time I did that, it looked like I made an egg on the floor. So I think I'm actually gonna turn this lapis into blue dye so I can just make some blue carpet. All right, so we got a grand king-size bed here with a couple side tables, maybe a little trim around the bottom like this, and of course, a very plush carpet. Okay, I've got to be honest, this vibe actually isn't cozy at all. I think I might need to tone it down a bit and maybe just give myself like a normal bed because this is kind of just eating up all the space in the room. Honestly, this isn't great either. Speaking of sleep, I've got to go. And that brings us into day 16. Listen, this is gonna be a little work in progress, I think, because although I really want a cozy place to sleep at night, I kinda need to get started on some other projects. So the one thing about building out this starter house was that it was a little bit of a struggle. And that's because the tools that we have on hand right now aren't looking too great. I mean, I'm still using stone for most of them. So I think it would be a good idea to go down into the caves to see if we can find some diamonds. Oh, there's a creeper. Oh, well, you know what? Better that it was the terrain than it was me. I didn't take a single bit of damage, so I'll take it. All right, let's get down into these caves and try and get some diamonds. So I began digging tunnels again because I figured that was the safest way to go about it. Oh, looks like we've run into a little bit of a cave. Is this safe? I found diamonds. I decided to be brave. I went into a cave and I found diamonds. I also found a ton of lava pits, which could definitely come in handy for future use. I also don't know why I'm kind of whispering right now. I think it's because I'm a little scared. Ooh, even more diamonds here. Okay, it's a little bit of a risk going in here, but I think it was worth it. That's the very first mob I've killed. It's been like 16 days. Are you for real? I've been playing it so safe. But to be fair, I should be, considering I only have a stone sword right now. That's another thing I should probably figure out. All right, that's about all that little cave had to offer, so back to tunneling. I hear like a lot of stuff above me, and I don't know if it's a good idea to dig into it, but at the same time, I can't help but to be a little bit curious, you know? what? What is this? Oh. I don't know if this is something that I wanted to find. I've got to be so honest. Ooh, there's some iron though. This is huge, but also this might be a little bit too big for me. I've got to be so real. I really don't think I should test my luck in here, so I think I'm gonna dip. But hey, we've got some easy access to copper now, so we can probably build with this later on. So I think that's my cue to head back the other way and maybe dig around someplace else. We are now on day 17, and I'm kind of back at the starting point of my caves, where I think I want to brave this little section right here. It's a bigger cave, so it might be a little bit tricky, but I say we see what it's all about because I'm not having any luck digging. Actually, you know what? Iron sword? What if I just go with diamond? I feel like a sword at this point is probably optimal. Oh, why are there so many skeletons around here? Ow! Maybe this was a bad idea after all. Ow! Oh, there's a lot. I might just have to go down there to properly defend myself. Jeez. All right, well, I'm in it now, so I am hoping I find something good to make this worth it. Lush cave! Oh, ho, ho. Okay, this is so worth it. Oh, diamonds. Now we're cooking. I mean, it was only one, which isn't the best, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. Low-key, I'm kind of desperate at this point. I see more diamonds up there. Let's get them. Oh, now that explains why there's so many skellies. Because that's where my spawner that I found is. Okay. Uh-oh. Tricky situation. Oh, this cave goes on forever. It's starting to get a little bit dicey in here, and I don't think I like it. Now, the one last thing that I want to do is light up this spawner. I'm also going to close it off really quickly. So with this nice and safe now, that means I can come back to it and turn it into an XP farm. That since I have access to an XP farm, I really need to get an enchanting table set up, which means we need to focus on feeding these cows and harvesting this sugarcane. So let's get them all fed. And now that we have this many sheep, I think it is safe to say we can finally start harvesting them for food as well. Because boy, oh boy, am I getting hungry. All right, and the remaining thing that I want to do for the day is make myself some better tools. Now, as much as I'd love to have a better axe for chopping down trees, I think I've got to go pickaxe, because I see myself going into the caves a lot more soon. And with another remaining diamond, I'm gonna make myself a shovel as well. So I think we've made some really good progress for the day. Oh, and it's nighttime, I better sleep. And that brings us into day 18. So we're still waiting on our cow population to grow, as well as all of this sugarcane. So in the meantime, I think I wanna lay out a spot for where we're gonna put our next build, which is definitely gonna be a spot for the enchanting table. So let's start by drawing a path from our starter home. Now I say we kind of snake the path along this way. Ah! Not again! No! That's it, you know what? Torches, they're going everywhere. Should have done this to begin with. Oh yeah, I see you over there, okay. Oh man, you too? Come on! It's not the best use of time or my torches, but I think it's kind of necessary at this point. Well, hopefully that helps. All right, so basically what I did was I simply just drew a path going from our starter home that just winds over to the right of it. And then we can simply place an enchanting house somewhere along this path. So I'm thinking we place the build somewhere around here. Now I think I'm kind of missing some materials to build with. So we can't get started straight away because we're gonna have to let some of these saplings grow. I think what I might do for the rest of the day is go back down into the caves and see if I can get some more diamonds. If I could upgrade the rest of my tools, I would be very happy. And let me tell you, I tunneled around for the rest of the day and I didn't find a single diamond. I truly figured I would find something if I strip mined for as long as I did, but nope, there was nothing. Day 19, and yet again, I've had no luck with any diamonds today. So I think what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna stick it out down here and probably work on that skeleton XP farm. Because of course, if we're making an enchanting area, we're gonna need XP for it. So let's hop into a time lapse to get this done. I see diamonds down there. Oh, that's risky, but I can't pass them up. I just have to be very careful and quiet. Well, I guess that's not my problem. Ooh, this is a really good cluster. Nice. Now get me back to this spawner. Building out this XP farm took me into day 20. Alrighty, I think I got this thing up and running. One skeleton's here so far, so that's a good sign. Now we just have to hope that, yep, there we go. More are falling down, which means we've got ourselves a source of XP. So while this thing is up and running, I think I'm gonna try and dig myself out of here because I'm pretty far down from our staircase. And I kind of need a proper way to get out of here. Well, unfortunately, I don't have the most safe passageway that there is because, well, it leads into this part of the caves. But at least it brings me over to my bridge right here. Oh, that is part of my spawner. That should not be open. So it is a little sketchy going to and from. And I did put these trapdoors right here, so hopefully that kind of protects me. Oh, well, there's the test right there. It works. Stick a door here, and we're all good to go. So now we got ourselves a good source of XP. And not only that, we've got access to bone meal as well. Now, I don't think I'm gonna spend the rest of the day down here, because we still have lots of work that needs to be done on our enchanting area. But at least that's all ready to go for when we need it. Now that did end up taking quite a bit of time in the day, so the sun is going to be setting in a while. But this still at least leaves me some time to get the animals fed and the sugarcane harvested. Come on, cow population. I need you to increase. It's starting to look a little bit glitchy, which means it's getting there. And finally, last task of the day. Ow. Let's harvest some of this sugarcane. And just like that, we are now on to day 21. So I spent the past few days in the caves, and I feel like I haven't gotten enough sunlight. So I think today I'm gonna do some chores around here so I can actually get the build up and running. Now first things first, we gotta chop some trees, so we actually have materials to build with. Wait, I just realized. What am I doing using stone tools when I have a fresh set of diamonds right here? There we go, that's much better. I'm done with you. Well, I don't know if that's enough materials to work with, so I think we might be doing this a couple times over. You know what would make this process faster? Bone meal. But also, you know what else would be nice? Having proper stairs to go down into these caves. Because it may not be bad on the way down, but it is terrible coming back here on the way up. I'll be taking these. And how about we spend a little bit of extra time to get some proper stairs in place? Oh, that is already so much better. I could cry. Oh, would you look at that? Most of these trees have already grown on their own. And for the rest, we'll just use the crushed up bones of my enemies. That sounded like really dramatic, but it is kind of true, I guess. Chopping down all those trees brought me into day 22. All right, I think our material situation is a little bit better. But before we get started on this build, let's make sure we tend to these animals this morning. The cow population is steadily increasing, so we are making good progress. And I would say our sugarcane isn't looking too bad either. So with all of those morning chores done and out of the way, how about we get started on this build? So pretty much all we need is something that's going to be big enough to house an enchanting table. It would be nice to have some extra room for decorations and stuff as well, but that's pretty much our main priority. So if we theoretically pop the enchanting table somewhere here, then we have space for bookshelves all around. So this size of house should be perfect. Now all we need to do is build up the walls and the roof, and we should be good to go. So I went with something a little bit different, so these two builds stand out from one another. I decided to strip the logs this time around, and use birch for the inside of the walls. And I think this palette's looking good so far, I like it. Now we just gotta get a roof on this thing. Day 23 came around where I was still working on the roof. So the trim in shape is all in place, so now I just need to fill it in. And with this one, I'm gonna go with dark oak. I want this rooftop to have like a nice punch of color, especially to contrast the bottom part of the build. Oh yeah, that's looking good. You know what? I can't believe I'm doing it. I'm out here surviving without spruce. So pretty much the most important part of this build is done. We've got a spot for the enchanting table. Now there's one last thing that I wanna add though. I think I wanna put a tower in behind to give it a little bit more height. And hear me out. What if for this tower top we used copper? Because I think it would look pretty sick with this build. And also, we do have an easy spot to get copper, and it's down in those caves. Except I'm like getting way too ahead of myself. I should probably get some food before I even think of going back down into those caves. Yeah, I literally had nothing, so we gotta cook this up. Oh, food, even my hearts were going down. That's not good. Alrighty, it is day 24, and I think we should start the morning off by grabbing this food and heading down into that trial chamber to steal a bunch of copper. Well, I am gonna have to fix up some of these stairs along the way down, because right now my big ol' head keeps hitting them. Alrighty, here we are. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab up all of this copper. I mean, it's already here. I might as well use it. This is so much easier than cooking and oxidizing copper. So I don't really know how much I need, but I have a feeling this is probably more than enough. I mean, I'm just building a tiny little tower top, so I think I may have gone a little bit overboard. Alrighty, we're gonna store that away for now, because if I want a tower, I need to start with building the base, which we're gonna need some more stone bricks for. So let's cook up some of this cobble. And while we're waiting for that to cook up, it's now the perfect opportunity to make sure we're feeding the animals and collecting up some of this sugarcane. I don't know, something tells me I might have enough cows. Man, I think I need to spend the rest of the day organizing my life because it is not good right now. Alright, it is day 25, and hopefully all of this stone is done cooking, or at least some of it. Okay, we've got 30. Not the best, but we can work with that. So I kind of had a little bit of a big brain move as well. We've actually got ourselves quite a bit of tuff. So what if we use this for the bottom of the tower? That way we'll have ourselves a nice looking gradient. So maybe right around here is where we use some mossy cobble to change the gradient into all of the cobble and stone. Alright, how's this looking? You know what? Not too bad. It would probably look even better if we incorporated some like moss and glow lichen. So whenever we collect either of those things, we definitely have to come back here and fix this up. But I think it's looking good. So that's all done, which means it's time to get the top of this tower in place. Alright, how's this looking? Ooh, yeah, look at that. Now that's a nice tower. You know what would be even cooler? If we made some of the pieces kind of not oxidized. You know what I mean. Which we can easily do because we've got bees. So all we have to do is pop a campfire down here, and then we should be able to shear some honeycomb. Boom, got it. Alright, this stuff was already waxed, which is fine because we can just wax it again. And we only have 3 pieces right now, so I'm just gonna do the ones at the front because, I mean, nobody looks at the back of builds. That's just silly. Yeah, I like that a lot more because it makes it look weathered. We have made some really good progress today, and now I think I'm gonna spend the rest of it organizing. It is now day 26, and I think we're making some good progress on our enchanting house. Inside, however, is, it's not looking too great. So I think I'm gonna have to, spend the day kind of figuring out what I'm gonna do here. Ah! Okay, well, in that experience, I have learned that I need to fix the floor. So I kind of came up with the idea that the enchanting table can be like sunken into the ground a bit. Once we get the bookshelves in place, it's gonna look a lot different, and yeah, this dirt won't be showing, but I feel like that could look kind of cool in this build. So we're still waiting on a few things to make the interior look swag, so that means I've got the rest of the day to kind of work on the exterior. So first things first, I think we definitely need some windows around here, especially to light the inside. Then to make the area look a little bit less flat around these windows, I'm just gonna add in some planters. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. I would like some different types of leaves like azalea, but we'll definitely work with what we've got for now. All right, now let's go ahead and do the same thing around these windows as well. Then last but not least, we'll add some campfires up top. And I think that's a pretty good start. We're still missing a lot of decorational items that I'm gonna have to add later because we just don't have them yet. Which makes me realize that I also fully forgot to decorate the outside of the starter home too. That's okay, once we get all the good stuff, we will go on a decorating spree. All right, with all of that done, I think it is time for a nightly round of chores. Yeah, I think at this point it's safe to say that we're gonna have more than enough leather. Alright, we are on to day 27, and I think today is the day. I think we might be able to get our enchanting table. I mean, we certainly have a lot of cows in here, so, yep, I just got pushed out of the pen. Let's see how much leather we can get. It's like a mosh pit in here. I can't see anything. All right, I really took out a lot of cows here. I left a bunch just in case I need to keep breeding more, but 43 leather seems like a good amount. Now, the only problem is I don't have any sugarcane that needs to be harvested, so we just have to hope that I collected enough of that. That doesn't seem like a lot. Oh, how much is it? And all of that combined makes us 9 bookshelves. Okay, yep, that's not enough. Oh, it really was the sugarcane that did it, wasn't it? Well, that is okay because I am gonna place these down for now. So sadly, I think we're gonna have to wait on the sugarcane so we can finish up this enchanting table. That's all right though, because we're getting pretty close. So since we have the rest of the day free, maybe we should spend it fixing up this area a bit. Currently, we've got 2 nice builds on the top of the island over here. And I think it would be nice to start making some form of farmland. Now, the only problem is all of these animals are in the spot where I was envisioning to have the crops. So I think we should probably build out some pens so we can go ahead and move them. And we'll just pop in a little bit of coarse dirt to roughen up the terrain, and we can draw our path over up towards here. I think that's looking pretty good. Well, the sun's setting and I don't want to be moving mobs at night. I think I'm probably just gonna go to sleep. It is now day 28 and I think it is the perfect morning to move these sheep over. That's a lot. Can you even fit through this gate? I don't know if you can. I might have to like make an alternate entrance for you. Oh my gosh. Yep, okay, this is working out. This is working out. All right, close the gate. Oh, you didn't make it in. I'm sorry. You might have to be my lunch. Oh, nope, you thought better. I think I'm gonna give you some time to roam around. So that's 1 animal pen all done. And I think that is a much more suitable home for our animals. Plus, look how cute it is. So now we just have to figure out where we're gonna put the one for the cows. And I'm kind of thinking, could it be cool to turn this trim into a bit of an overhang that would house the cows? Okay, not bad. I think that's pretty cute, actually. Again, all it really needs is a little bit of coarse dirt, and I think we're pretty much good to go. Let's break this pen, and let's get you all moved over. Get it? No? Okay, I'll stop talking. Wow, I really have so many more cows than I realized. Hey, come on, man. You two? No, stop. Oh no, I forgot I was holding the wheat. All right, so we successfully got them in here, though, and I think that this is looking good. You missed it, dude. Come on, you can do it. There we go, we got you too. All right, now I need to escape really quickly, and we're all good to go. So all of the animals have actually been safely moved over. But that means that this spot right here is now vacant. Actually, I lied. We have this chest over here that is still full of so much stuff. So I think I need to spend the rest of the day organizing this so we fully have this space cleared out. And that's what I did pretty much for the rest of the day. Organized a bunch of my inventory. And just like that, we are on to day 29. Now, I think it's safe to say that the first thing I should be doing is getting all of this sugarcane because we really need this enchanting table set up. We're getting pretty close to getting this table done. I think we're only a couple bookshelves away. Alrighty, we've got ourselves 3 more bookshelves. Wait a second. These don't belong here. The corners should definitely be free. Whoopsies. Just had to remake those bookshelves quickly, but let's place these in their proper spots, and we're making some progress. We need 15, but we only have 12 at the moment, so we are definitely getting there. So since our chores for the enchanting table are all done and sorted, I think we can get started on fixing up this area for some farmland. So basically what I want to do with the space in front of these houses is make a bunch of crop fields. Not only will we get a lot of use out of the crops, but I feel like it would also frame up this area really nicely if the fields are all kind of like rolling down the hill. So how about we hop into a time lapse to get all of this terrain fixed up. And fixing up all that terrain has brought us into day 30. All right, I've got the shapes for the fields in place and I think they're looking pretty good. I might fix a few things here and there while I'm building out the retaining walls, but I think we're in a pretty good spot. Plus, look at all the dirt I managed to collect from doing that. That is definitely gonna help us out. Now, I did wanna use oak wood for the retaining walls. However, I don't think I have enough. So I think we're gonna have to farm a couple more trees today. I still have just a little bit of oak kicking around, so I'm at least gonna get started on this wall. And I'm using a stone axe for this because I actually refuse to use my diamond axe and wear it down any further, especially for an easy job like this. And now we just have to finish the wall with slabs. All right, that is one field all in place and ready to go. So now all we have to do is hydrate the field, till the land, and add the crops in. Now, while I was making this field, I kind of had the thought that I only have wheat seeds. I don't even have carrots or potatoes. And I'm kind of thinking that the only way to get a hold of any more crops would be to go into the caves and find a zombie. Hopefully one of them would drop a carrot or a potato at some point, but I think that's our only option. Hi. Are you looking for seeds? Okay, here you go. All right, everything in this field has been planted, so now we just gotta wait for this to grow. Alrighty, we are now on to day 31. So we've got this first field in place, which means we need to work on the other two down here. Now, the only problem is that I've run out of oak. So I think we're gonna have to spend the day chopping down all these trees that we grew. And I think half of these ended up as giant knotted oak trees. No, this is gonna be a struggle, isn't it? Probably still some left, but at this point, it's not my problem. I've got enough oak to fill out some of this farmland, so I think I'm just gonna putter away at this for the rest of the day. And that brings us into day 32, where we've got one more field in place and just one more to go right here. Now, I think the shape is pretty much looking perfect for this one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fill it in. Alrighty, so with this one all done, that means our farmland is pretty much complete. I mean, minus the fact that we don't have crops for these ones, but I think we'll have to go figure that one out. So this is what it's looking like in free cam, and I think this adds so much to the island. I'm already starting to picture the way that we can wind down a path going this way, maybe leading to a dock. There's definitely a lot of potential for this area. So with this all done and in place, we are ready to go when we find our next crops. Alrighty, so we still have lots of time left in the day, and I think I'm just gonna putter away, try to get the enchanting table done, and maybe some decorating. Alright, we've got a couple more bookshelves we can make, so this is good. That gives us 2 more, which brings us up to 14, which means we only need 1 more. That's it. We're getting there. Since that's about as much as I can do with this enchanting table, I think I'm gonna spend the rest of the day decorating my bedroom, because it could definitely use some work. It is now day 33, and as you can see, I have kind of started to switch up the decorations on this top floor. I'm still missing a lot of materials to make this space cute, but I think I'm starting to make a little bit more progress, because before it was, it wasn't looking good. So today, I think I want to try and find some more crops for our fields. We're still waiting on some sugarcane and stuff like that for our enchanting table, so we definitely have some time to spare today. So let's pop down into the cave to find some zombies, because that's our only chance at getting these crops. Well, there are zombies here, but this is a lot, especially with the baby zombie right there. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take a bow from the skelly spawner, because I haven't done that yet. Oh, there aren't any. That's why. Well, guess I'm gonna stand here for a while so I can get myself a bow. Gotta love this 47-step process just to get a carrot or a potato. Come on. There we go. I think I got one. Oh, another one dropped. All right, we got 2 bows. They're not the greatest, but hey, they'll do. Now let's go find some zombies. Not me getting distracted by moss and stuff. But hey, I need this stuff for my builds, okay? It's important. Whoa, a slime? Cool. I don't know what I'm gonna use this for, but hey, genuinely, where did all of these zombies go? Oh, there's one. Nothing. Ooh, diamonds. Another zombie. Ooh, this is a big chunk of diamonds. We love to see it. And I have been running through these caves, and I haven't really had any luck with zombies. The ones that I've found only drop zombie flesh, but for the most part, I've come across like creepers and skeletons. Unfortunately, I've had no luck today, so I think I've got to call it quits for the night. So it is now day 34, and unfortunately I had to go back up to the surface because, yeah, I kind of ran out of food. But that's okay because, it's not okay. We've got another creeper. You're moving fast, buddy. Boom, gotcha. Because I've got a bow and arrow now. So I think since I'm already up here, I'm just gonna focus on getting some chores done around the base today. Oh, before I forget, I should probably feed myself. I have steak left over. I forgot. Nice. All right, I'm all fed, so back to work on my chores. We're so close with this enchanting table. I think if we just breed the cows a little bit more and gather up a little bit more sugarcane, we should probably be good. But all of that has already been done for the day. So I think what I'm gonna do for the rest of it is probably chop down some trees and keep decorating my interiors. So I pretty much spent the rest of the day chopping down trees, and in the evening, I worked on decorating my bedroom. It is now day 35, and I have finally started making progress on my bedroom area. And although I don't have a lot done, I think this is definitely a step up, at least compared to what I had before. So I think I'm just gonna keep chipping away on that each evening. Now I have the feeling that today is the day that we're gonna get our enchanting table set up. I've made sure to keep collecting sugarcane, feeding the cows, all of that stuff, so I think we should be good to go. Oh no, the sheep! I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, the lone sheep. It was just in the way. I couldn't help it. All right, well, we got a piece of wool from that. I'm just gonna put that away. But in terms of the enchanting table, let's see how many books we've got. So we have 13 books now in total, which is gonna give us 4 more bookshelves. I think we just need 15 to make this thing. Pretty sure. But I'm gonna pop down 2 just in case. And I think that should be enough to power the enchanting table. Now, the question is, do I have enough to make an enchanting table? I cannot see the recipe, and I just realized I don't think I have obsidian. I think I need to go find a lava pool. You know what? It's fine though. I wouldn't even worry about it because I'm pretty sure I saw a lava pool when I was looking for zombies the other day. Here it is. All right, we got some. So let's go ahead and scoop up some of this obsidian. Oops. All right, I think 5 should be enough. Alrighty, let's finally get this thing made. It is done. Look at that. Except, do I have lapis? Oh, I have some here in the dyes. I don't know why I have it here, but I do. So we have our enchanting table. We actually do have 31 levels as well. And I think what we should do is make ourselves a new pick and see if we can get a good enchantment with it. I think that having a good pick is arguably the best thing that you could have as a starter item. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this out. So we've got ourselves Fortune 2 and Efficiency 4. And you know what? For a first time enchant, that's actually not too bad. That will absolutely come in handy whenever we find anything like diamonds or iron. What a successful day. I am so happy we finally got that done. It is now day 36, and boy, it is a great day because we now have enchanting. So over the past couple days, we've done a bunch of work to get this thing up and running. And since we've made it, we might as well use it. So I think I'm gonna spend most of today at the skeleton farm so we can gain some more levels and put this table to good use. Perfect, we still have a little bit of daylight left. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to enchant something else with these 30 levels. Now, what can we get on our chest plate? Let's see. Protection 4. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Well, that makes me feel a lot better going through all those caves, especially because it also has unbreaking, so this thing's gonna be durable. I would say that was a success. So all of that enchanting brings us into day 37. And I was kind of thinking that today I want to go back down into the mines. I still want to try and find some crops for our fields, but I think I'd like to go down there and gather up some other stuff like building materials so we can get started on a new project. All right, there's lots of zombies down here this morning, so maybe we'll have our chance at finding some more crops. Nothing so far. Are you kidding me? What is this? Oh, it's just skeletons. I mean, that's cool and all, but I need zombies. Ooh, diamonds. Well, let's pick these up with our fortune pick. And that got us 3. Not too bad. This protection armor has definitely come in handy with these mobs. I don't think I'm taking nearly as much damage as I did before. More diamonds, don't mind if I do. So I ran around the caves for quite some time and didn't really see many zombies. Any of the ones that I did encounter also didn't drop any crops, so I wasn't having much luck in that department. I was once again though having ridiculous luck finding diamonds. Oh, a bunch of zombies. This could be it for me. Really? What's it gonna take? Well, at least I found more diamonds. And some more. Another spawner? I think it's a zombie one. This is huge. Okay, this might actually be our ticket to getting these crops. I think I am gonna leave that spawner behind for now and head back up, because we also don't really have anything that we need in order to properly deal with it. But hey, finding that is huge. It is now day 38 and we are back from the caves. Now I think I would like to spend most of this day decorating some of these builds. Now that we have enough materials, we can actually make these interiors look nice, because right now, yeah, they're looking real sad. But also, I have 30 levels to spend, and I was kind of thinking about trying to upgrade another tool. We've got Silk Touch. Don't panic, don't panic. That's the one I really need. Okay, we're making a pickaxe. Stat. We got Silk Touch. With efficiency and unbreaking. That is fantastic. And honestly, this changes everything for building. So now instead of having to convert all of that cobblestone into stone through the furnace, we can just pick it up like this super easily. And I am very happy about that. I've been using stone brick a lot for these builds, so this is definitely going to come in handy. All right, so with that done, I think it's time to get decorating. And I'm gonna start things off by finishing up this bedroom. I pretty much laid the groundwork for this area, and now I just have to make it look a little bit nicer. So let's definitely get some plush carpet around here. Maybe like another little storage workstation. And a couple more paintings should do the trick. It is now day 39 and I've made a lot of progress on this room. Honestly, this is looking so much better. Oh my gosh. What a difference from what it was before. Now I think I'd like to spend today fixing up the enchanting area. This is yet another room that looks, well, really sad. So I think we've got to work to make this feel a little bit more magical. So I puttered away for the day, adding details to the enchanting house. Now, of course, I wanted to make this place feel magical, but it also had to be practical as well. So I made sure to add things like storage and a crafting bench. Then after that, I filled the area with a bunch of lighting, like hanging lanterns and glowberries. Alrighty, we have now made it to day 40. So I still have a little bit of work left to do for this enchanting area, but I think I'm pretty much done for the most part. I just need to get this little fireplace in here and spruce a couple things up here and there, but it is already looking so much better. Definitely more magical and also a lot more practical. So currently on our island, we have our 2 builds up here and of course our field that we've been waiting for our other crops. And I think I'd like to get started on some stuff around this side of the island today. Now I've actually been getting so much use out of this mining outpost. However, currently I don't really have a good path leading to it. So I was thinking that we should probably draw a path going over to the mining outpost, but also build up a retaining wall along this edge. That'll provide some really nice decoration on this side of the island. And that way our mining entrance will also stop looking like a random hole in the wall. So with that idea in mind for the day, I got to work by terraforming some of the land. I'm gonna level and flatten just a little bit of this area, because if we widen out this space a bit, we'll also have enough room for a build as well. All right, that's looking much better, so let's get our path in place. We could get a nice little staircase going down through here, and then we could wind the path going over this way. And then I was kind of thinking this spot could look really cool if we put a little bit of a dock here, just to widen out the entrance to the mine. But if we want to get started on these projects, I gotta head back down into the mines to collect some stone for this retaining wall. So the rest of the day was spent in the caves gathering up more materials. It is now day 41 and I think I've got enough materials to get started on this wall. For this wall, I'm going with the same palette that I've been using for the foundations of my builds. So it's going to be stone brick, cobble, mossy cobble, and andesite. So let's hop into a time lapse to get this all done. So I pretty much made this part my stopping point because while I was building, I had a really cool idea, and I was thinking that eventually we could turn this into a little bit of a waterfall. That way it would also help separate the farmland with this area that we've got going on over here. So this is what our retaining wall is looking like on this side. And I think this adds so much to this part of the island. Now I just have a little bit more terraforming to do around here and then we're pretty much done. So I spent the rest of the day digging out this area to match the height of the wall. Alrighty, that brings us into day 42, and I think we've made some good progress on this part of the island. When I was digging out this space for our next build, I was kind of thinking, we don't have a proper spot for our bees yet. So currently they're just on this tree chilling right beside our house, and I think they deserve a cozy little home. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the structure in place first, and then we'll figure out the pathing down to the mine and all of that other stuff afterwards. All right, I've got a rough layout of what I think would fill this space pretty nicely. So I think I'm probably good to just build this up. Now, usually I would put bees in a greenhouse, except this time around, I want to do something a little bit different. Bees, of course, love the outdoors. They pollinate the flowers, all of that stuff. So I just want this build to feel earthy. So I think running with a palette of birch, oak, and tuff would look really cool. It's not something that I usually combo together, but I think especially if we add things like leaves and stuff amongst the build, it'll definitely give the vibe that I'm going for. All right, we've got the basic shape so far, and I think this is looking really good. Day 43 came around, and I started the morning off by working on the house for the bees. Alrighty, so both roof lines are in place, and I think that is looking good. Now, before I go ahead and fill it all in with wood, I actually want to bone meal an azalea tree, because I want those crunchy azalea leaves for this rooftop. So literally all I'm going to do is pop these in amongst the oak. This will definitely help give that pop of greenery that I'm looking for. Well, pretty much all of the roof is filled in except for the top trim, because I just realized I ran out of tuff. Well, down into the caves I go. Oh, okay. Literally just started digging into tuff, and I end up finding diamonds. Well, I'm just gonna take all of these for sure. Oh, got some zombies. Oh, carrots! I got a carrot! Oh, this is even better than the diamonds. Move! I need it! Give me the carrot! Oh, I picked it up. Oh, this is the best day. Literally, I don't even... Oh, more diamonds. I was gonna say I don't care about the diamonds, but I think that's also kind of a lie because, I mean, finding diamonds is great. You have no idea how happy I am that I found a singular carrot. Went down here for a little bit of tuff, came back up with some treasures. It is now day 44, and we are doing the most important thing we will ever do on this island. We are planting this one carrot. I am so happy I found this. You have no idea. It's just gonna make our fields look so much better. So we're gonna let that thing grow and do its thing while we continue working on this house for the bees. Alrighty, the roof is all done and in place, which means I just have to fill in a couple more walls here and there, and then we should be good. Oh, I forgot I had all these diamonds to properly mine. I think I just got really distracted with that carrot. Let's go. We got another 11 diamonds and 30 levels. So maybe we should also make ourselves some better tools as well. And I think I'm gonna make myself a new shovel because mine's looking really bad right now. So what enchantment are we gonna get for this new shovel? Silk Touch. That's it. Just Silk Touch. I have a feeling I shouldn't have wasted my enchantments on this because that's really sad. I mean, like, it's not a terrible enchantment, but efficiency, unbreaking, all of those ones definitely would have been better. Well, maybe we'll have to try again. But in the meantime, I'm gonna finish up this bee house. Building up the bee house brought me into day 45. You know, since bees play an integral role to copper, I feel like we need to incorporate it somehow. So let's put in some copper bulbs to light this place up. Then we can just use buttons to activate them and then remove the buttons and they stay lit, which is so cool. I really don't use these enough. Okay, idea. What if we get some copper grates in the windows? You know what? That's kind of cool. Ooh, I like that. We're gonna have to go back down into the trial chamber to grab a couple more things, but that is definitely the vibe. Next up, I'm gonna place some flowers wherever there's coarse dirt. Because, I mean, if this is a house for bees, then of course there's gotta be lots of flowers. And also, it's still a little dark in here, so let's just get like a couple more windows popped in place. Yeah, I think this is starting to look a lot more bee-friendly. Now, the sun's kind of beginning to set, and I think that means I might be able to grab these bees. Yeah, it sounds to me like they're in there. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna scoop this hive up, grab our little campfire, and these are gonna be the first bees in their new home. There we go. How do you like it, buddy? I'm gonna add more leaves and flowers for you, don't you worry. But I hope it's a cozy little spot for you. Oh, yes, we got 2. Amazing. Actually, wait, can we give them these? I think I hear even more bees in there too. And we got a baby bee. Oh, my favorite thing in Minecraft. Look at how small it is. It's just trying its best. All right, well, we're gonna leave these bees to enjoy their brand new house. Now I better spend the rest of the day organizing my inventory because I think I'm gonna go back into the trial chambers tomorrow just to grab a couple more copper items. So we're gonna need some free inventory space. Day 46, and I am making my way down over to the trial chambers to grab myself some more copper items. Alrighty, time to steal more copper stuff. Uh-oh, I've set stuff off. I probably shouldn't be doing this. Ah! Oh, I should not be doing this. I made a mistake. They're fighting each other. It's fine. Ow. Okay, honestly, I just need some bulbs and some doors, and then I can get out of here. Ooh, scaffolding. Ow! This is very dangerous. So I may have accidentally just started doing a trial chamber just because I'm looking for a door. I did end up with a key, however. So, yeah, let's see if we get any treats. Ooh. Now, I don't think I'm gonna activate the ominous bottle to get anything else because, you know what, I'm really testing my luck here, but this is turning out to be kind of successful. I can't forget to grab what I actually came here for, though. Oh, finally, a door. Stop hitting me! I'm gonna get out of your hair any second now. Not that you have any. I think I heard both of those keys go off. Hold on, let's see. All right, well, this one's just giving me straight up bread. And this one over here has a potion of some sort. Okay, that's kind of cool. A potion of regeneration. Cool. I really do think I'm testing my luck here. I got all the building materials I needed, so I think I should get out of here. You know what? I'm not gonna say I held my own in that trial chamber, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe if we have time later on, we should go back there. All right, we are back with all of the items that we need for this bee house. I mean, most importantly, we got these copper grates that I needed to complete this window. But there's still lots of work to be done to complete this thing, so I think I'm gonna spend the rest of the day decorating. It is now day 47, and I think I pretty much finished the interior of this bee house, and I think it looks super cute. The bees are kind of getting stuck in areas though, because I think they're like really into the flowering azalea, but here's what I ended up with. So we've got a little spot for our bees right here, and I think if it's all working correctly, we should be able to shear this now. Yeah, we can. And I think with this honeycomb, we'll also be able to make some beehives and stuff, so we can kind of add to this area. But pretty much I just filled this space with a ton of flowers, some storage, and the upstairs right here is just some more flowers and greenhousey stuff. Now I want to add some more flowers eventually, but the only problem is that we don't really have many flowers on this island. Maybe if I bone meal some areas, we might get some different ones, but I think that's pretty much it. Oh, how did I never notice these before? Well, that's nice. We've got some tall flowers around here, which means we can add one right here for them. So now that the interior is all done, I obviously still have to fix the exterior because it's looking a little bit bland around like the windows and doors. So I think I'm gonna spend the rest of the day fixing this area up a bit. It is now day 48 and the bee house is pretty much all done. So I added a bunch of decorations on the outside, mostly leaves and some storage and stuff, but I think this is looking so cute and definitely matches the vibe I was going for. This is definitely the most detailed build we have right now. We are definitely gonna have to add some more decorations to these builds as well, but all in all, I think this is looking so good. So we still have a lot of stuff to do on this island. I would say we have about like maybe half of it filled out. Oh, my carrots. I'm gonna have to keep planting these. So I think what I'd like to do today is continue adding details to this island. A lot of these paths need some decorations like coarse dirt, and things like fencing would go such a long way. So I think I'm gonna work on that for the rest of the day. So we are now on to day 49. And take a look at this pathing. I think adding all of these little details made such a difference around here. And as you can see, this space over here, compared to some of the areas around here, looks so much less flat. It's so much more alive. Now, with all of this done, I think today I want to focus on getting the rest of this path sorted out. I pretty much worked on everything up until this point right here. And I think what we're gonna have to do is get a little bit of a staircase along this wall. All right, now let's close these stairs in with a wall on the other side and get this path all fixed up. Alrighty, so we've got ourselves a nice looking little staircase that leads us to the bottom part of this island. Now earlier I had mentioned that I want to make a little bit of a dock going into the mines because I think it would really elevate the space in front of it. So let's just get a nice simple oak dock in front of it. Then last but not least, we just got to give it some beams. And then in between those, we'll toss in some fencing and leaves for rails. And just like that, we are now at the halfway point. We are on day 50. And you know what? Looking at this island, we have made a ton of progress so far. We're not done yet. We still have lots and lots of work to do. So I want to finish out this dock today. However, I ran out of wood halfway through. So I need to grow some saplings in order to be able to finish that up. Now, I don't have that much bone meal left because I need to visit our XP farm. So I think in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix up this side of the island while we wait for the trees to grow. I don't really feel like spending the day in the mines today, so we're kind of hopping around projects here. But that's all right because we have so much work to do around the base in general. And let's finally get this side of the island all patched up. I think for the most part, this is looking nice and cleaned up. I definitely want to do something with this space, which is why I wanted to flatten out this area a little bit more. But overall, I think this is looking really good. Well, I think that is a job well done. It is now a beautiful morning on day 51, and let's see if any of our trees have grown. Yes, some of them have. Okay, perfect. Let's get all of these chopped. Now that's absolutely going to give us a little bit more to work with. And now we can finish up this dock. I really didn't need that much more, but hey, it made all the difference. Oh, and before I forget, we need to finish off this mining entrance. I think we could probably do with making this entire entrance just a little bit nicer. Plus, it would actually be really nice to have a little smelting station in here as well. So I think I found myself a new project. Now, I think I may have come up with a fun little side project for myself. So I think I'm going to spend the rest of the day making a little smelting area. Whoops. There goes that shovel. Well, guess I'm going to have to use the Silk Touch one. So let's just finish up the floor around here. We'll pop down a couple furnaces. And finally just clean up the walls a bit. Alrighty, so I managed to get most of this in place, and I think this is looking so much better. We've got a little bit of storage, crafting table, and some furnaces as well. And of course, the entrance itself is looking so nice. Woohoo! It is day 52, and yep, I've got a mob problem. A big one. Probably shouldn't have stayed up. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, don't blow my house up! Oh, that was so scary. Well, that's what I get for staying up late. But hey, at least our mining entrance is all done. So speaking of the mines, I actually think I'm gonna spend today at the XP farm. I actually need some bone meal in order to continue on some of my projects, and I could do with some XP for my tools. So let's spend some time at this XP farm to make sure we collect all of those things. Alrighty, we are on to day 53. And after spending some time at the Skeleton XP farm, I am up to 34 levels now, and I managed to grab a ton of bones for bone meal. So before we get started on any project today, I definitely want to see what we can enchant. I think it's probably smart to enchant another tool because we're not doing much exploration in the caves at the moment. Now the question is, what are we gonna get though? I know I need a good shovel still. Ooh, unbreaking. But I also could use a better axe. Honestly, I think I should spend it on the shovel. Unbreaking and efficiency. This is so much better than the Silk Touch one. Oh my gosh. Way better. Actually, we still have 31 levels. What could we get with this axe? Efficiency. But what about my armor? Protection. Well, we did do one tool, so maybe we should focus on some armor as well. So we got protection 3 and unbreaking on these pants, and I would say that is definitely a step up. Although I may not be exploring too much, I think it's still a good idea to have better armor, especially now that we managed to get another tool enchanted, which was the main priority. Oh, before I forget, let's finally make ourselves a diamond hoe as well. So with all of this stuff, we are definitely set for the day, and I think what I want to do is I want to get this field in place. I think it just needs some love, especially because it's going to make such an impact when it's actually all filled in. So how about we get farming? Now, I kind of had a little bit of a different idea for this field. I was thinking that maybe we should do a combination of carrots and wheat. So if we alternate by doing strips of 4, that could look pretty cool. I mean, if it doesn't look cool, I'll probably just tear it apart and fill it all with carrots, but I think it's worth a try. Now we've got more than enough seeds to fill this field, but carrots not so much. I'm gonna have to bone meal a bunch of these. Hi, here, you can have that. All right, the field is all in place, so now we just gotta wait for this thing to grow in, and we'll see if we like the pattern or not. I don't know, I think it could look pretty cool though. Alrighty, we are on to day 54. So we're still waiting on this crop field to grow, and I think I'd like to focus on getting this one done today. That way all of our fields are done and in place. So I think I'm gonna go with wheat for this one as well, just to kind of alternate between the 2 different styles of fields. You know, I was kind of thinking I wish I had something to spice up these wheat fields a bit, and I just realized I do. I forgot we had all of these peonies, and I think it would look really nice if we sprinkle some of these amongst the wheat. So with all of that, all of these fields are done and in place. All we really have to do is let them grow, and I think that this is already looking so much better. Now, since we have all of these fields in place, I feel like this area around the retaining walls is kind of lacking. And I was thinking that it could look pretty cool to have some docks and stuff in this area. But let's start things off nice and simple by drawing a path. Well, those leaves are kind of blocking the view so we can't fully see it, but from what I can see, I think it's looking pretty cool and will definitely look better with a dock in place. But if I'm gonna build a dock, I'm definitely gonna have to chop down some more trees. It is now day 55, where I am now spending the morning growing trees. Just to chop them again, of course. Alrighty, I managed to grab tons of dark oak, so we should have enough to build this thing. There we go, this one's nice and simple, but I think it does the job. You know, I didn't even realize we had firefly bushes here. Cool. Alright, this is looking good. Now we've got a nice little spot to hang out, do some fishing if we want, which we actually haven't really done at all. I feel like we should do that soon. And if you look yonder, you can see the spruce off in the distance. I miss you, old friend. Alright, so with this all in place, that means we just need to sort out the path over to this dock, and then this area is mostly good to go. So I spent the rest of the day working on some pathing and then organizing my storage because it was terrible. Like, really bad. It is day 56 and I'm getting straight to work this morning on this pathing. It's so simple, but I really do love a good little pathway. Plus, this part of the island now has some good decorations. Oh, our crops grew in. That's looking so good. So with this side of the island mostly decorated and in place, I think the next project I'm gonna wanna work on is something towards the back of the island here. We have a ton of space to work with, and currently it's not really being utilized. I'm thinking this would be the perfect spot for another dock and a fishing shack. I mean, we're on an island surrounded by water, so I think it would make sense to have multiple docks. So I think I'm gonna spend the rest of the day getting a path in place that will lead to this fishing shack. It is now day 57 and I'm starting things bright and early by getting this fishing hut in place. So I'm keeping this one nice and simple. I'm just gonna use a mix of oak and birch, kinda like we did with the bee house. Alrighty, the walls are all in place, so that's all done. Now, the only problem is I wanna move onto the roof, but I barely have any tuff. So I think it's looking like the rest of this day is gonna be spent in the caves grabbing up as much as I can. It is now day 58. I got myself all of the tuff I needed from the caves, so I'm gonna get started on this roof. And again, I think I'd like to keep this one just nice and simple. So I'm using the tuff for the trim, and then I'm gonna use a combo of oak and birch for the middle of the roof. Alrighty, how is this looking? Yeah, I think this is super cute. We still have lots of work to do in terms of detailing it, but I really like the way it's turned out. But in no surprise to anybody, I can't continue this build because I need to gather up some more resources. I'm kind of running low on every single wood type, so I'm gonna have to spend some time farming more trees. I find that it's kind of tricky to keep up with the wood supply on this island, literally because I have to go out of the way to plant all of those saplings. It's a little bit harder to keep tabs on this stuff, especially when you're just used to running into a forest and grabbing what you need. Day 59, and it is time to get started on the interior of our fishing shack. Despite this being empty and sad right now, we actually have a really cute space to work with. And right now, I'm really obsessed with the way copper looks, especially for windows, so I think I'm gonna do some more copper windows over here as well. Once these oxidize, we're definitely gonna have to wax them because I want them to be a little bit like rusty looking, but I think this is gonna look so cool when it's all done. So now I just need to decorate this fishing hut and then we should be good to go. Just want to build out like a cute little storage unit in here. We'll definitely get some greenery as decorations as well. Ooh, and maybe we'll divide up this space so we can have like a little bed nook and then like a storage area. It is now day 60 and I'm gonna start working on these little nooks. I'm gonna throw down a blast furnace in this corner and then a bed over here. And to make this a little bit more cozy, let's add in a couple picture frames here and there. And I would say that this fishing hut is pretty much done. Well, the inside anyway. This is totally a vibe. The outside, however, is not cute. I think we also need to add some cute, like, fishing stuff to the front of this build. I mean, if we have a fishing shack, we should probably have fish-related stuff, you know? So if we pop some fish on these campfires, it's like a little drying station, and I think that's pretty cute. Oh, and before I forget, we need a chimney on this thing. Or two. Because 2 is always better than 1. Adding all these details brought me into day 60. So now, of course, the last thing that we need is a dock. I think for this one, I'm gonna do a little bit of a smaller one so we don't need big beams or anything. Some fence posts and leaves should do the trick. I'm just gonna bring back a little bit of the greenery that we took away here and then we should be done. All right, yeah, this is looking good. It's simple, it's cute, and I think it fills in the space nicely towards the back of the island. So with that all done, I still have some time left in the day, and I think I'm just simply gonna fix up some more spots on the island. I mean, we've got this starter crop field right here that we definitely don't need anymore. So I think it's time to say goodbye. Wow, things really do be changing around here. All right, it is now day 62. Sorry, I just had to eat some steak. I was really hungry. My axe is on the verge of breaking, so I think I want to go back down into the caves today to gather up some levels so I can make a better one. We still have lots of diamonds that we can use to make a pickaxe, so we might as well. So pretty much this whole day was spent at the XP farm gathering up levels. Day 63 came around and I figured since I could probably use a couple more levels, I decided to stick around at the Skelly spawner. It may not be the most thrilling way to spend 2 days, but hey, at least I was getting some good levels. It is now day 64 and I managed to grab quite a few levels over the past couple days. I also randomly brought back this gold armor with me because I figured it would look sick on this armor stand. Yeah, look at that. That's sweet. All right, so the first thing I want to do today is enchant stuff with all of these levels. And I was kind of thinking, oh, this might sound crazy, but I think I want to go into that trial chamber and just explore a little bit more. But if we're going to do that, I'm probably going to need a better sword because the one I have right now isn't too great. So let's enchant a new sword. Okay, that's not great. Do I try something else? That had sharpness? Oh man, okay. Maybe I need to make like an anvil or something. I might just try to get the levels back. I don't know. That was not a good enchantment though. I guess I'm just gonna put that there, you know, get an anvil right here. I'm just gonna spend the levels to get sharpness. Sharpness, fire aspect, looting, and unbreaking. Okay, I really did this the wrong way. Please do not judge me. I'm kind of panicking here. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spend my last few levels on some more stuff for my armor. So we're gonna get ourselves some diamond boots. Should honestly probably just combine these two so they're like fresh, you know? I spent too many levels on this. I think we can all admit that was a mess. So since we used all of our levels to get geared up for combat, I say we head over to those trial chambers. All right, we made it back over to this trial chamber where I've been stealing copper and now I'm ready to steal hearts. And not in a romantic sense, I'm ready to, like, you know, fight all of these bad guys and stuff. Super cool. All right, where are you all at, huh? Okay, so this is a key room. Now I just need to find a room that will have all the bad guys in it. Oh, that's one. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay, a lot more is happening than I realized. Potatoes! We got potatoes for our field! Oh, what a great day. There's a lot happening right now. I'm scared. Oh, okay, so we got 1 key and 2 keys. I think we can pop the keys into here. And with that, we got a channeling book and some arrows. Ooh, a key thing. All right, let's pop this one in. See if we get anything good. Okay, more arrows and emeralds. Not exactly what we need, but hey, I'll take it. Searching through the trial chamber brought me into day 65. Where you at, dude? Uh-oh, I forgot about you. Got him. I think there should be a key. Oh, there's one over there. Perfect. Yup. So I think because I wasn't consuming the ominous potions, I wasn't really getting great loot. I was obtaining a few fun items here and there, like those breeze charges, but other than that, it was all pretty standard. Regardless of the mid loot, I decided to keep searching around in the other rooms. Woo-wee. This is getting spicy. These guys are kind of chilling. I'm not gonna lie. I feel kind of bad killing them. Like, I know they do damage, but they just seem like nice little guys. Alrighty, I got another key, so let's unlock this one. Oh, wow. Iron armor. Thank you so much. Suit up! I just got the suit up achievement. Protect yourself with a piece of iron armor because I never got any. That is the funniest thing ever. This is really easy. Just standing there, I feel kind of bad. All right, let's pop a key in here. And what we get? Is that a honey bottle? Oh, I think I got some diamond armor though. Protection 2 chest plate. Oh, I've got 4, but that's actually not bad. That's probably the best thing we've gotten so far. Searching through the trial chamber brought me into day 66. Now I have 1 more key to use, so I'm still searching around for a box. Please? Yes? There we go. 1 more spot to put our keys. I got a golden apple! Ooh, and golden carrots. Okay, this is sick. We've actually managed to get quite a bit of stuff. Wait a second. Is this mangrove wood? Are you for real? It's mangrove wood. Please, let me take it. Can I get any of those, like, propagules from it? Did those even drop, or are they just, like, hanging from the tree? I don't know. Aw, man. I don't think you can. That's so sad. That could have been so awesome to have. No. It's okay. I will cherish these little pieces of mangrove I have for the rest of my life. Now, I think it's time for me to get out of here. Honestly, I've spent a couple days in here, and I got some goodies. I'm just ready to go home, though, you know? All right, here's our exit, so I'm getting out of here. We're back up at the surface. Mwah! I missed you. I missed you too, Builds. I missed you, cows. Honestly, it actually really wasn't that bad in there, but it is nice to see the daylight. So I actually managed to grab quite a few cool things from here. I did get like a chest plate, some golden apples, a golden carrot, but most importantly, I found myself a baked potato. And I think what we gotta do is we gotta start. Oh wait, baked. Baked potato, not potato, baked potato. I can't grow it. I can only eat it. That is so sad. Oh, I thought I was gonna have these for crops. Oh man. I kind of feel like my fire aspect sword might have done that to me though. Anyway, I think I'm gonna spend the rest of the day organizing my inventory because it is a little bit of a mess now. Alrighty, we are now on to day 67, and I had a little bit of a different idea for what I wanted to do today. So one thing that I actually had in mind was changing up the palette of this build. I do like it the way it is, but since we built so many other builds with birch and oak, I feel like it might be beneficial to change up the walls a bit. So I was thinking maybe we could swap these beams with some dark oak and fill the rest in with diorite and calcite. Now, if I remember correctly, I did come across a geode somewhere in the caves. Okay, yes, this is where the geode is. Perfect. And first of all, I always have to open these up, you know, take a little look-see at them. And I just realized I have Silk Touch, so I can grab these as well. Nice. These are gonna look good on our enchanting table. I did specifically come here for the calcite though, so let's start scooping a bunch of this up. I managed to grab quite a bit of calcite, so last but not least, let's snag a little bit more diorite. now day 68 and I'm back up from the caves. So I got all the materials I need to change up the vibe of this house. Except, wait, do I? Oh wait, yeah. Okay, I've got some dark oak. We're good. So let's get started on this by first replacing our beams. This axe is about to break like any minute. It's done for. Yep, there it goes. That's all right. I have the largest supply of diamonds. It literally doesn't even matter. Alrighty, so with the beams all done and in place, all we have to do is swap out this birch for some calcite and diorite. Alrighty, so the change has all been made, and honestly, yeah, I think that's looking so much better. It's definitely feeling a lot more magical in my opinion. Now there are a couple more adjustments that I want to make to this. I actually do have to finish up the tower, and I want to add a couple things to the roof, but I was also thinking that we should probably switch up the trim along the bottom. I think it might match the beams a little bit better if we use some tuff for the trim instead. Yeah, that looks so much better. So I spent the rest of the day fixing up the trim and adding a couple more details to the roof. So it is day 69 and we're pretty much done with the changes that we made to this enchanting house. And honestly, I think this is looking so much better, especially amongst all of the other builds. Ever since the addition of these two, they were starting to look a little bit same. So I think that changes it up nicely. Now the last thing that I need to do on this thing is fix that tower up. Honestly, all it needs is something on the windows and then like a little planter or something. And that's it. So with all of these changes happening, I was kind of thinking that I want to fix up our starter home a little bit today as well. We don't need to do anything too major to it, but I literally just want to fix up the roof of this little cow barn. We've already got so much oak going on with this starter house, so I think we need to split it up a little bit and get some granite back in here. And yeah, that is also looking so much better, I think. So now I would absolutely consider the starter house and the enchanting house to be done. Well, actually, okay, no, I lied. I forgot, I need to get these paintings back. Oh, and also I completely forgot. We can add some of these crystals to the enchanting table as well. And maybe a flowering azalea because why not? They always look good, you know? And I think this enchanting room, honestly, I would say it's done. It looks super cute, it's cozy, it's charming, and it's magical. So with the sun beginning to set, I think I'm gonna putter away for the rest of the day and just do some chores around the base. And now we are on to day 70. Wow, time has really flown by, but honestly, we have made so much progress on this base. It is unreal. Now, I think today I would like to direct my focus towards this area of the base. Earlier, I had mentioned that I wanted to turn this into a bit of a water feature. So I was thinking it would look really nice if we got a nice stream of water falling down into the ocean right here. So let's grab a bunch of blocks that will give this a lot more detail. So I'm thinking like stones, moss, leaves, all of that stuff. And let's hop into a time lapse to get this done. All right, what's the vibe? How we doing here? Ooh, yeah, I think that is looking so much better. Not only is it a nice little decorational piece, but I feel like it also helps separate the farmland with the other side of the island really nicely. Hello? I was wondering if I was gonna see you, bud. Ho ho ho! I did hear that you broke my crops though. I'm pretty sure you did. Yep, you're gonna have to pay for that, bud. All right, what you got? Dark oak saplings. Oh my gosh, I actually don't need like any of this. Like the acacia's great, but what am I gonna do with just a couple of logs? Come on, man. I mean, the tall, dry grass could come in handy. Thankfully, we went into those trial chambers and actually got a bunch of emeralds. So I'm gonna grab all of these. And for once, I'm actually gonna make a trade. Thanks, buddy. I was kind of wondering if this would look good amongst our wheat field. I'm not like 100% sold on it, but I feel like it could look kind of cool if we add a little bit more. Also, can we bone meal this? No? So I have to pay this dude every time for more of this? That stinks. You know what? This might be crazy to say, but I've been so lonely on this island that I'm kind of enjoying his company. I think he can stay for now. It is now day 71. So today I kind of want to set my sights on some of this pathing. The dirt pathing on this island definitely does the job. However, I feel like we could definitely elevate these paths a little bit more by using a block palette on it. And I was thinking that mud and granite would look really nice. The only problem is, we don't really have a supply of mud. So in order to do this, we're gonna have to build a little bit of a mud farm. Now, mud farms require some redstone items, which luckily I did end up gathering while I was caving. Now the question is, do I have enough though? So I'm gonna go ahead and get a bunch of items that I need for this farm together to see what else we need for it. So I was easily able to gather up a bunch of stuff that I need for this farm. The last thing that I need is a bunch of glass bottles, but I need like 800 of them. That seems like a lot, right? So I think I'm gonna be collecting sand for the next while. Also, I am really bad with redstone, so I'm following a tutorial for a mud farm that I'll be sure to link in the description. And gathering up all that sand brought me into day 72. So I've got a lot of sand burning up into glass, and I think it's gonna be a while for me to get like 800 bottles. I don't even know how much that is. Okay, well, I only got 45 from that, so I've got a ways to go. I think in the meantime, though, I'm probably just gonna grab all of these materials and at least try to start building out the farm itself. Now, where do we put a mud farm on this island? I mean, a really obvious choice would be to dig out a spot in here and kind of have it hidden and underground. But we also still have so much space to utilize on this island. And I was thinking that maybe we should utilize this shoreline right here. From what it looks like, this farm doesn't require too much room, so we could probably easily cover it with a build over top as well. All right, this spot's looking good to me, so how about we set down our items and get to work? So this is about as far as I got today, mostly because I need way more glass bottles for this thing. I didn't realize I would need so many in the beginning of the build, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and collect a little bit more sand because I didn't grab nearly enough for this, and hopefully I can continue on with that afterwards. There is a llama on top of the tower. I repeat, there is a llama on top of the tower. How did it even get there? I don't understand. What did it climb? Well, I hope that's a permanent fixture because that's awesome. It is day 73 and boy, oh boy, did I ever underestimate how much sand I would need to make glass bottles. I mean, 800. I should have seen it coming, but I'm really bad at math. So, I mean, it's a lot. So I think I'm gonna be dedicating a little bit more time to collecting some of this sand. Alrighty, I managed to make a couple more bottles and I still have a lot of glass burning. So I'm just gonna fill this dispenser up with what I've got. And back to collecting sand I go. You know, at this point, I'm thinking the mud path was a questionable choice at best. But at the same time, I also think it's gonna look really good when it's done. Alrighty, this brings us into day 74, where I've got a couple more bottles to stash away in this mud farm. I am making progress. I basically just have to fill this up and these ones as well, and then I think I'm pretty much done. So I'm thinking maybe one more day of collecting sand, and then I should be good to go. So this day, of course, was, like I said, spent digging up more sand. Luckily, the ocean floor had a ton of sand on it, so it honestly wasn't too hard for me to collect. Alrighty, I've got another big old pile of sand. So let's get all of this stuff cooking. And that gives us a couple more bottles to add to this. So this one's pretty much all filled up. And then we just gotta worry about this one. So it finally feels like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. It is now day 75. Oh, nope. Whew. Well, that's what I get for staying up late, isn't it? And we are nearly done with getting all of these bottles. I just need a couple more, but that is a-okay because we have so much glass burning here. So I think I might have actually done it. I think we finally have enough glass bottles in here to finish this off. And that's it. That is all we need. So let's get the rest of this mud farm in place so we can have this thing up and running. Alrighty, so this is all in place and I hope I built it right. So we're just gonna have to find out. Let's place our dirt here. I think it works. It works. We have mud. Oh, this is perfect. Now, I believe I need to actually use an iron shovel, preferably with unbreaking, but I don't have that, just because the speed I have on my shovel right now is simply too fast, and then it can't keep up, which is why I have all these water bottles here. So I think I'm gonna take a designated iron shovel over here, and I am just gonna post up and use this mud farm until I think I have enough for our pathing. It is day 76, and take a look at how much mud I have. That was honestly barely for me using it at all. Like, I really wasn't standing here too long. So we now have tons of mud to work with, which means that if we harvest wheat from this wheat field, we'll be able to make packed mud. Alrighty, I replanted all of this field because I have a feeling that we are definitely gonna need more wheat in the future, but with all of the stuff we managed to collect, let's go ahead and make ourselves some packed mud. 3 stacks is not a bad start at all. Just gonna turn some of it into mud bricks. And now we have part of what we need for our pathing. So we still need some granite, however, I am running low on it. So I've just gotta go scoop some up. Alright, that should be enough granite for us to get started. So with all of the materials that we needed collected for this path, let's get all of this in place. So it is now day 77, and I got a really good portion of this pathing done the other day. And I think this is looking so much better. I feel like this pathing just has so much more character to it than the traditional dirt path. Now, I still have a little bit more to fix up on this end of the island. However, I'm all out of packed mud. I do have enough mud for it, but I don't have enough wheat. So I've got to go ahead and collect some more. All right, I managed to grab a little bit more. So hopefully this gets us through most of this pathing. So all of the pathing is all done, and I think this is looking so good. Oh, I'm so happy. It's finally done. But what does it look like on free cam? Oh yeah, that looks so much better. Another concern I had with the dirt pathing was that it looked a little bit too same with all of like the wheat and oak and all of that stuff. So I think this pathing definitely provides a bit more contrast around the island. Oh wait, I forgot this one. Yes, I'm not done yet. Fixing up all of our pathing has brought us into day 78. So yesterday I had to finish all of this up right here by the dock, so it's all done and good to go. Now, we still actually do have a little bit of pathing to work on because I never drew a path over to this mud farm. But we also have a build to figure out for this as well. I don't think it would look really nice if we just left this thing in the open, so we should probably cover it with a nice little house or something. Now, I'm thinking that the obvious choice for a build like this would definitely be to incorporate some mud, which means I'm gonna have to replenish my supply. So I spent the morning at the mud farm gathering up some mud. All right, mud acquired. And now finally, we just need to top up on some more wheat. So I think we actually have a pretty decent supply of mud, especially because we have a little bit left over from our pathing. So we're pretty much all set for that. And the last thing I want to do for today is stock up on my wood supply, because we're definitely starting to run pretty low and we could use a top up. Another bee's nest. Oh, let's grab this. And I am gonna put you safe and sound over at our bee home. There you go, buddies. I need to keep remembering to collect that honeycomb because we're legitimately gonna need it for some of our builds soon. It is now day 79 and I am just collecting a couple more resources to build with. I managed to grab a decent amount of oak yesterday, but I think I'd like to collect just a little bit more dark oak and then we should be good. Alrighty, I think I managed to grab enough dark oak for this project, so I think we can begin figuring out this build. Now, first things first, we need a little bit of a path going over to this area, so I need to fix up some of this grass. And now I just need to figure out what I'm gonna build around this thing. It's actually a pretty simple shape, so I don't think we need to do anything too drastic. I'm thinking like a small little house or something could look really cute on the shoreline here. So I'm just gonna fill in the bottom walls with mud. And then for the top floor, how about we get some dark oak beams in place? And then in between those beams, I think I'm gonna go with like a stone pallet. So I've got a basic shape down for this build so far, and I think it's looking real good. I went with just like, I don't know, like a house shape of some sorts. I was kind of just like riffing it as I went along, and I think we're making some good progress. So we are now on to day 80, and I'm starting the morning off by getting the roof for this build in place. Alrighty, so the roof shape is all done, and now I just need to figure out what I want to put in the center. So of course I incorporated the mud brick in the bottom half of the build, and I'm kind of thinking I want something a little bit bold for the rooftop. I feel like copper could be a really good option, especially because I've been looking to incorporate it in other parts of the island. Plus, we still literally have tons from the trial chamber, so we might as well use it up. This is looking so cute. I think I want to take it one step further though, and maybe get a little tower on the rooftop. And maybe for this tower top, since we're also incorporating the granite into our pathing, then we could also incorporate this into the build. Alrighty, it is now day 81, and wow, I kind of forgot I built that for some reason, but honestly, this is looking so much better. I really like having a build at the front of the base like this. It just adds a lot more interest when looking out at this side of the island, rather than just seeing like endless ocean. Now the structure's pretty much all in place. All I have to do now is add a couple details here and there to clean it up, and then we should be good. So the last thing that I really need to this place is, of course, a pathway. I still don't have one yet, so I should probably sort that out. So we are now on to day 82, and I am nearly done with this mud farm. The structure is definitely all done and complete. The last thing I want to do is just add a few tiny little details, especially around the edges here. All we really have to do is add in a little bit of coarse dirt, some fencing, leaves, just the standard stuff. So I continued to putter away on decorating the mud farm. I am so obsessed with these flowers. I've just been sprinkling them in here and there, and they just add so much to the landscape around here. They're so cute. All right, so most of this is done, and I don't think I'm gonna go super heavy on like leaves and stuff for decorations. I think I'm just gonna use like potted plants instead. So we could do a couple of azaleas, a little flower there, maybe a couple posts with some azaleas as well. Just wanna keep it a little bit more simple for this one, especially because it's such a small space. I don't wanna overwhelm it with leaves. All right, so now we just need to pop the lantern here, maybe add like a little barrel or two around here. And I think this is looking so good. And yeah, I feel like that fills the space perfectly, especially with the nice little path in place now too. It definitely feels way more complete around here. So with all of that done, I think I'm just gonna have to spend the day cleaning up this mess because yeah, it's gotten pretty bad. Alrighty, so we are now on to day 83. So we still have quite a bit of time on this island, and that's good because there's still quite a few things that I want to work on around here. As you can see, this area is now all complete. We've got our greenery back in place, and I think it is looking so much better. The same thing cannot really be said for the area around our builds over here. Now, I don't want to do anything too crazy in this spot. I simply just want to fix it up, probably with some bone meal, leaves, and maybe even a cliffside edge made of stone. Now, the only thing is I've run out of azalea leaves, which I want to use for this part of the island. So I've got to start things off by collecting up a few more. Alrighty, we've got ourselves a good amount of leaves now, so I think we can begin fixing this area up. I mean, first things first, let's bone meal this to bring a little bit more grass and greenery into this area. Now, I'm not 100% sold on whether or not I want this to actually be made of stone and all of that stuff, so I think I'm gonna decorate it with leaves and fencing first, and then I'll make the decision afterwards. I think I kinda like it this way. Like, it's still a pretty steep cliffside, but I don't think that necessarily means that it needs stone or anything. Yeah, I feel like adding the fencing and the leaves kind of just helped frame this up a bit. I think a couple trees here and there would also help, but I'm not going to do that just yet because I'm still using this space to farm oak trees and dark oak trees. All right, with that all done, I think I've got to get back to organizing my storage. I've actually been keeping things pretty tidy around here, and that's not about to change. It is now day 84, and I was kind of thinking about our next build and what I want to do with it. So we have all of this space right around here that hasn't really been utilized. And I think I've come up with the perfect idea for this spot. I mean, honestly, I think it's a pretty obvious one, so you're probably all like, Drift, I know what it is. But I want to build a lighthouse right on this little island right here. Bet you didn't see that one coming. I mean, think about it. What if somebody comes to save me? Whoa, did you see that dolphin? That was so cool. Anyway, as I was saying, what if somebody comes to rescue me on this island and it's late at night and they can't really see anything, and instead of rescuing me, they crash onto this island, destroy their boat, and then they're stuck here as well forever. So I think it only makes sense to get a lighthouse in place. So for this lighthouse, I was thinking about doing like a classic looking one. You know what I mean? So one that's got like the red and the white stripes. So I think calcite and diorite would look really nice in this palette. But for the red blocks, I'm not so sure about the granite. It might be a little bit too messy. I was thinking, however, that red concrete could do the job. I've still got a little bit of sand left over from our mud farm. Oh, but no gravel. So I should probably go resource collect down in the caves. First up, diorite, because we could definitely use a little extra. Next up, gravel. Oops, that's my spawner. Ah! Cover it up, cover it up. Well, I did not mean to do that. This patch seems good. Alrighty, I managed to grab everything I needed from the caves. However, I did realize in this process that I'm gonna need more sand. I thought I was done with this, but I guess not. Hello, old friend. It's so nice to see you again. It is now day 85, and I've got almost all the materials that I need to make this concrete powder. I literally just need a little bit more dye. And the only way I'm pretty sure we have access to that is with these poppies. If we had beetroot, that would be a different story, but we never actually came across any of that. But that's okay, because at least I've got lots of bone meal, so I can grow these poppies. This is honestly kind of a win-win because I'm managing to add some greenery to the spaces that needed it. Alrighty, I'm hoping this will be enough. Oh, wow. You know what? That actually made way more than I thought it would. Sweet. So there's a couple ways we can go about doing this. I think the way that I want to do this is I want to make myself a giant concrete tower and then just dump some water on it. Is this sketchy? Maybe. Is it fun? Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, the view from up here is cool, but it is also a little bit scary. Alrighty, let's dump the water here. And we just have to wait for it to run down to the bottom. And I think we are good to start mining this. Now we just gotta do that once more, and I think we're good to go. Alrighty, we are now on to day 86. And I think I'm ready to get this lighthouse built and in place. So what I'm gonna start off with is actually the foundation of the lighthouse, which I'm gonna make out of stone. So the base is all done, which means next I'm gonna move on to the diorite, calcite, and concrete to make that stripe pattern that I'm going for. I got the tower all in place. Now let's see how this is looking from the ground. Yeah, I think that's looking good. Now I've never really done a lighthouse design like this before with the stripes. So this is my first time figuring it out, but I think it's looking good. I'm gonna try popping in a trim around some of the edges though, just to give it a little bit more contrast. Something like this. Yeah, that's looking good. So I'm gonna do that a couple more times around, and then I'm gonna build out the top of the lighthouse. Building up the top of the lighthouse brought me into day 87. So the posts are in place, now I just need to get a roof on this thing. Alright, so the lighthouse is pretty much all done, I would say, except I can't see it. I can't see it at all. I'm gonna have to jump down, so we can take a little look-see at it. Whee! I think that's looking pretty good. Okay, I have one little complaint about it. I like the base and all of this going on right here. However, I think this might be one fence too high. That means I'm gonna have to unfortunately tear down all of this, including the roof. But I feel like if we change this up, it's honestly gonna look a lot better. Okay, everything's been all adjusted, so let's see how this is looking. I think that's it. I think that change was necessary. It was just looking a little bit too tall against everything else that was going on. Yeah, I think this is looking perfect. Plus, now I have a really cool diving spot. I mean, look at this. Ready? Whoa! Oh, that was so close. I don't know if I'm gonna do that again. So the main part of this lighthouse is all in place. All I have to do now is detail it and, of course, put a little light in it. You know, I should probably get rid of this like dirt tower too. How do I get rid of this? This is just a mess. Alrighty, we are now on to day 88, and today I think I'd like to finish up most of this lighthouse. So we of course need an entrance into this thing, and we also need a way up for ourselves. Now the problem is there's windows on every side. And I feel like the best bet to make our way up there would honestly just be a ladder. So let's just pop one going up like this. Break a little piece off here. And now we've got access to the top of the tower. So what we're gonna need up here is, of course, a giant light source. And of course, I was thinking copper bulbs because I think that would actually look the nicest. Now, the only question is, do we have enough copper bulbs around here? Let's see. We have none. How do you make them again? Blaze rod. And yeah, I'm not going into the nether. I really don't want to. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is probably make a trip down into the trial chambers again and just scoop some up in there. Alrighty, we are back in the trial chamber, and wow, there are actually so many bulbs amongst the walls here that I kind of like never noticed, and I don't know why. So I'm just gonna, you know, scoop all of these up, maybe grab a little bit more copper if I need. Whoa! Never noticed this before. Sweet. There's actually quite a bit of useful stuff in these trial chambers. I am honestly very thankful that we've had this around. So I managed to grab a ton of these bulbs, and I think that should be more than enough for what we need. So let's get on out of here and back to the base. It is now day 89, and we are back up at our base with all of these copper bulbs. And the nice thing is we have different types of like waxed copper, so we can get some various textures and layers going. Now, I don't know if it's super annoying that I have like a little hidden spot right here, so we're missing 2 bulbs right here. I don't know, I think it could work though. So now I'm just gonna activate these lights with the buttons, and we're good. I wonder if redstone torches would work with this too. Probably. Alrighty, all of the bulbs are lit. Okay, but most importantly, how is this looking? You know, I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like the ones that aren't actually oxidized as much are way brighter. I honestly might just switch them all out for the weathered ones. Yeah, these ones are definitely a little bit brighter. I think it would look better if they were just a little bit more uniform. So I'm only able to replace a couple, and the rest I'm simply just gonna have to put back down. And I'm just gonna end up having to strip them because they're all waxed, so they won't oxidize any further. Yeah, I think that's looking so much better. It was just a little bit too bright before. All right, so with all of that done for the lighthouse, that is all good to go. And now I just have to detail it a little bit more. And of course, add some stuff around here, like maybe a little bridge or something. And then we should be good. So I spent the rest of the day decorating the lighthouse. All right, we are on to day 90. Wow, I can't believe we've made it this far. In hardcore of all things too. So our latest edition of the lighthouse is pretty much all done. Since the palette's so vibrant, I honestly just added only like a couple things here and there to it, like some barrels and chests. But I think I want to get the pathway sorted today, especially because we've got to build a little bridge right here. Now, I think I actually have enough materials for the pathing. So let's go ahead and draw one over to the lighthouse. Alrighty, the path has been expanded over this way. And now all we need is a little bridge to connect these two. I'm thinking we keep this one really simple, especially because it's such a small gap to fill. And maybe we could just use some wood for this one. While I have been overthinking this bridge far too much, and nothing felt perfect, so I think I want to make it out of stone instead. Don't ask me why, but simple little bridges really stress me out. Oh, I'm gonna be working on this all day. All right, I think I finally got one figured out. It's like a little bit clunky looking, but I think that's because it clears such a short amount of space. But honestly, I think this does the job. And even if it doesn't, it's fine. I'm done with it. That's it. Day 91, and okay, I kind of lied. I'm not completely done with this bridge yet. I just need to add a couple little leaves here and there, and then I think I'll be happy with it. Maybe we'll get a little lantern here as well, and I think that makes it look more complete. Maybe I was just being too picky all along. So with this bridge all done, I would say this lighthouse is all complete. And I think this honestly adds so much character to this side of the island. I'm really happy we got this in place. So with that area all done, I just need to fix up the path around here a little bit, and then it's like done. Pathing's all done and decorated, and I think these decorations framed up this path really nicely. So now I think what I've got to do for the rest of the day is organize my life. Because once again, I've accumulated a bunch of stuff, and we've got to make sure it all stays organized. You know what? Considering how small this storage actually is, it's actually been pretty good. Once I was done organizing, I still had a little bit more time left in the day, so I decided to chop down some more trees. We are now on to day 92, and oh, the bulbs, they've oxidized. This is great news. I'm actually gonna grab some of this honeycomb because I think I'd like to keep these bulbs at this stage of oxidization. All right, so with that done, we can now light these ones up, and now everything is all lit up. Yeah, that's looking super cool. So I had some plans in mind for some projects today. Now there's still a couple spots on the island that we have yet to fill up. We've got this little patch right here that could definitely use some work. Now this is actually quite a bit of room, so there's a couple things that we could do with it. But I was thinking a nice little field around here would frame up this spot really nicely. But in order to build this field, I do want to build a wall around it. And for this one, I think I want to use stone. However, I am actually starting to run low. So I think I've got to make a trip down into the caves and collect a little bit more. Since we're down here anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and scoop up some moss in this cave, just so I can more easily turn some of this cobble into mossy cobble. Ooh, maybe we could use some of this drip leaf for whatever farm we're making as well. All right, I've got an inventory that is much too full, so I say we make our way out of here. Day 93, and we are back up on the surface with all of our goodies from the cave. So first things first, let's get ourselves some mossy cobble, and then we'll make ourselves some more bricks. And now with all of these blocks, we just gotta build ourselves a little bit of a wall for this garden. The last thing I'm gonna do here is add some things like stairs and walls, just to make things feel a little bit more chipped and broken down. There we go, that's looking much better. So the question is now, what do we put in this tiny little patch? I mean, we do have all of these tall flowers over here, which we can absolutely utilize. Oh, same with these bushes. I didn't even realize we could bone meal these. So to make this look a little bit nicer and give a little bit more contrast, I'm just gonna replace this with coarse dirt. Then all we gotta do is fill this in with peonies, maybe a couple bushes here and there. And I think that is all done. Yeah, that fills the area perfectly. Oh, before I forget, of course, let's get like a nice little lantern right here. I don't know why, but I'm like, this area needs a little bit of light, I think. So filling in this flower field actually got me thinking about the other fields that we have. We've got a really unique looking one over here. However, I feel like we've got too much wheat going on in this area. So I was kind of thinking that since we don't need all of this wheat to make packed mud anymore, that maybe we should try and give these fields a little bit more character. I honestly think that if we do something as simple as making this whole field carrots and maybe changing this lower one to something else, then it's probably gonna drastically change the look of this island, especially because these fields take up so much space. Day 94 started off bright and early by filling in the second field with carrots. All right, it is all done and filled in, and I think time will tell to see if we like this one. It honestly also depends on what we do with this bottom part of the field as well. Like, we could end up with a little bit too much greenery. I don't know yet. Now, for this one, I was thinking about getting rid of all of the wheat on this field and maybe bringing in some more peonies, but also some stuff from the lush caves. I'm thinking it could look kind of nice if we do have two peony fields that are kind of similar but also kind of different. And I'm also curious to see what these lush cave items would look like in a field. Time will tell, I think, on how it's going to look with all of these carrots, but I do actually think that's a lot better. Especially this field in particular, there was just way too much wheat going on, and I think that kind of balances it a little bit more. Now, since I've got all of this leftover wheat, that means I can also make a bunch of hay bales, which is perfect because I have been wanting to add some decorations to this field for the longest time, especially to cover up all these little water wells. We are now on to day 95, and I think we're kind of starting to wrap things up here, if I'm honest. All of these fields are now done. We pretty much just have to wait for everything to grow in, but in my opinion, these changes that we made look substantially better than what it was before. So honestly, most of our big builds are pretty much done around this base, I would say. But there's still a lot of stuff that I would like to clean up. We've got a couple little patches around here that I think need greenery again, so I think I'm gonna spend the day bringing back some trees and leaves. So I brought back a bunch of trees, mostly within this area, I would say. So we had this little patch here that honestly we could have probably filled with something, but I also think that adding greenery back in is just as important, especially because it frames up areas so nicely. I also did bring back some trees behind our starter build as well, and I think this just helps make the area feel so much more full of life. If we take a look on FreeCam, you can definitely see what type of difference it's made. My whole idea when building on this island was of course to survive on it, but I also wanted to maintain that cute and cozy feel to it. And I think keeping this area super green and full of life definitely helped with that. So with that all done, I think I'm actually just going to spend the rest of the day removing all of these torches from the island. I've been doing a pretty good job of sleeping at night recently, so I think we're pretty much safe without them now. I really hope these aren't my famous last words. So it is now day 96, and I think I'm going to continue adding greenery to this island. The only problem with that is that I am pretty much out of bone meal. So I think I'm actually going to have to make a trip into the caves first before anything else. And luckily we still have tons of bones in the skeleton spawner. That thing really came in handy for this island. So we've got tons of bone meal now. And I think basically all I'm going to do is just add a little bit more greenery to areas like this. And maybe even toss in some like firefly bushes. Can we bone meal these? Oh, you can't. Dang it. Oh, and let's get some sugarcane tossed onto the shoreline as well. And honestly, it's nothing too crazy, but I feel like all of these little things do add up. I mean, honestly, just from walking around, I definitely notice a difference. The sugarcane frames things up nice. We've even got nice little twinkles with these firefly bushes. This island is, dare I say, cozy. If we take a look in FreeCam, yeah, adding that little bit of greenery, you can even see the difference over here versus over there where I actually haven't done anything yet, which means we gotta make our way over to this side of the island and do the same. Gosh, I love bone meal. Alrighty, the final bits have been added. How is this looking? Yeah, honestly, this looks super green, super lush. I love it. Wow, I can't believe how much progress we've made on this island. I mean, I guess it's a good thing that I enjoy this island because I am stuck here after all. Day 97, let's go. We are almost at day 100. Wow. We still have a couple of patches here and there that we need to fill in. And I don't want to keep placing leaves and trees because otherwise it might start looking a little bit too spammy. So I think what I'm going to do is pop down a couple little barrel piles and stuff instead. So let's maybe pop one in the corner right here. Can add one right here, of course. Maybe even a little storage pile close to the dock right here. I mean, if we've got like a little mining entrance right here, this place would definitely have like a couple barrels for storage and stuff. You know what else would look good amongst these piles? big pots. Let's get some of this clay burning so we can make some. Also, while we're at it, let's make ourselves some more lanterns. Now, I don't think I want to go too overboard with the lighting, but we could definitely use some along the pathing. We've got to make this area safe from mobs, people. There might be some mobs spawning on the back of the island, but there's not going to be any on this path. And that's kind of all that matters, right? It should all be lit, but it's okay. It's fine. It is now day 98 and it might be crunch time, but honestly, I'm kind of chilling. I think I did a really good job of pacing myself with all of the builds and stuff on this island. So now I'm just kind of vibing and making sure it looks as good as it can be. Now I still have all of those big pots to place today, and I think I just want to get them sprinkled here and there amongst all of our piles. Because honestly, pots are such a nice decorative item, especially the big ones. Sometimes I kind of forget that they actually exist in this game, but when I remember, it's game over. One last pot. Where am I gonna put this? You can go right here. We've got pots just placed everywhere. Now, I don't necessarily need to fill all of them, but I would like to get some of them filled up with flowers and azalea. Now, I know we don't have a lot of flowers at our disposal, but I tried to switch things up on each individual pile. And I think adding that little extra bit of greenery made all the difference. Geez, what a cozy little island this has become. Oh, there is one copper bulb that is no longer lit. That's gonna drive me crazy. It is now day 99. Can you believe it? That is absolutely unreal that we have gotten this far, and in hardcore. I know I keep saying it, but like, I honestly didn't know if I'd survive this. Now, the very first thing that I want to start off doing this morning is fixing this lighthouse light, because for some reason it went out, and we just gotta relight that. There we go. That is so much better. Now, with all of that done, that means I can shift my focus onto the rest of the island. And I think, honestly, today's just gonna be another simple one. I ended up getting so much more done on this island than I anticipated. So it's really nice when the last few days are kind of just cleaning things up to look the best that they can be. And for fixing things up, I think I'm gonna start things off by keeping it real simple. I'm gonna grab myself a little bit more honeycomb, and I am simply just gonna roughen up some parts of this copper roof. I think it would definitely look a little bit better if it had varying degrees of oxidization. Yeah, that's such a simple fix, but honestly, I think it makes all the difference. Especially because this thing is on the shoreline of an island, we definitely want it to look a little bit weathered. So next up, another thing I noticed that we've got with this island is that this dock right here is super rustic and worn down. And this one over here feels a little bit too simple with the vibe that we've gone for on this island. I feel like simply adding in a couple leaves in here would probably do the trick. Maybe also just like a couple little barrel piles to like clutter it up a little bit. Then last but not least, let's roughen the actual dock up a little bit with some trapdoors. I think this will do the trick. Yeah, honestly, I think that definitely looks better. I didn't want to overdo it with the decorations, but I also wanted this to blend into the environment a little bit more, and I think this achieved that. So this has been our last day to fix stuff up on the island and our last sunset. It feels really weird to be saying that because honestly, I have been enjoying living on this island so much. But at the same time, I'm also really proud of how far I've made it. So I guess there's nothing left to do but soak in that last sunset. It's getting dark out, isn't it? You know, I really don't want mobs to spawn on the very last day, so yeah, I think I gotta go to bed. And it is now day 100. We survived, we made it, and we built this really cool base on this island. I can't tell you how happy I am with how this whole island turned out. Honestly, I was a little bit worried at first having to build without spruce because if you watch my channel at all, you will know that I use tons and tons of spruce in my builds. But all things considered, I think I did a really good job working around that challenge. Even though all of the builds have quite different styles and palettes to them, I think they all work together really nicely on this island. I mean, not only was the lack of spruce a huge challenge for me, but also surviving in hardcore mode. I'm usually more of a survival player, and I think I've only beat hardcore maybe like once or twice. I honestly couldn't even tell you. I think it's once. But this has kind of made me realize my skills and the fact that I could probably do this on another world. So not only did I have so much fun building up this base, but I also learned a lot about myself. And I keep talking about the lack of spruce, and although I honestly did have so much fun building without it, I'm really excited to build with spruce. I'm not gonna lie, I did miss it a bit. But regardless, honestly, this island turned out so cozy. I mean, let's take a quick little look at it in free cam again, just so we get the big picture. And yeah, look at that. This island honestly looks sick. I think some of my favorite features on this island are honestly a lot of the organics I placed. Like, I love this waterfall that divides up the farmland with the other half of the island, and I really love all of the greenery and stuff that I managed to fit into this space. Although the builds look really cool, I think the greenery really takes it to another level. And honestly, there's really not a bad view on this island. I mean, each path is just so cozy and feels so full of life. Actually, except for the back of the island, this part's terrible. We don't go here though, don't talk about it. And speaking of cozy, honestly, the interiors, A+. The enchanting area is also sick. And I mean, look at this fishing hut. Like, come on, super cozy. So yeah, I am extremely happy with how this turned out, and this might be one of my favorite 100 days projects that I've ever done. It was quite the challenge gathering up all the materials that we needed for it, but figuring all that stuff out was such a blast. So I actually think that might be where we leave things off for this video. Now, if you're still watching right now, leave something in the comments so I know you're still kicking around right at the end of this video. How about the word overalls? Because that's what I was wearing while building this island. So original, I know. And also, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing because it really helps out the channel. And finally, I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. I had such a blast with this project, and I hope you all enjoyed the process as well. Now, since I made it to 100 days, the challenge is over, and I think that means I'm gonna abandon this island for my love of spruce. See you later!